The last time on the wilds of Valandiir, the Crown Collectors had ingratiated themselves into the western town of Cobb, and in doing so, ran afoul of the law while searching for an explanation for Koz's daughter's collar, as well as the collars seen around town. They come face to face with the authority of Cobb, the Wranglers. Dressed in black, they are pushed out onto the street and beset upon by what could only be described as a tyrannical orc sheriff and his thugs. That is where we're going to pick up. You are all on the battlefield on the main thoroughfare just outside the Copper Nickel Tavern. We're going to go right into turn order, but first I need everybody on the board to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
I will roll for next.
Luckily, I've got pretty good wisdom.
And just keep in mind, everybody, as you roll and tally your score, if you have any items or things on your person that would give you advantage to something like that, or some kind of bonus, don't hesitate to throw that out there. I feel like sometimes you guys have magic items that might help and forget to use them.
Why won't it roll my dice? There we go. Or what? There we go. Jeez.
Oh, look at that 20. I did not get in that one. I did roll a 7. I did roll a 7 though.
Like the 4 times that gave me that one.
I need one from Kravish and one from Baranor. I got it.
I'm getting roll 20's acting a little screwy here, not letting my dice roll.
Yeah, what's going on, Roll 20? Why don't you work ever?
D&D down pick.
It's a worldwide internet issue. Damn. Okay, it's fate. Everybody but just really tanked their roll.
Wisdom save. I get a +2 with wisdom.
Tanked. Oh, dear. That's a 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, so Ken, you don't have to apply any of this to Yuno's character, his psyche, his state of mind, okay? Everybody else, take heed. As Sheriff Gorg and his Wrangler underlings, all dressed in like black dusters and wielding rifles and swords on their hips and encroaching upon you, you all get this collective flash in your mind of a sort of like a sunset on the prairie, just a minute flash of an image. And you see a reeling back humanoid head just sopping with, like dripping with this black Icarus oil down the top of this character's long hair that is just soaked and stained black with this oil that just drizzles down this character's head with a light yellow, pupilless, irisless eyes. And just a flash of the head reeling back with its mouth wide open, fangs abound within its mouth, all black and covered in oil. That's what you all just sort of like see just for a fraction of an instant, enough to where your cognitive mind can shape the image into something you can see, but not enough to give you any context whatsoever. You just feel that it's accompanied by a horrible shriek, like that. And then flashes back. You're back in the action. It is currently Maven's turn as Gorg has just slammed Baranor's not unconscious but taken aback and sort of ragdolled body, slammed it into the ground with his fist. What would you like to do? You're kind of up by another one of these guys, about 10 feet away.
Question before we get started. A few points of clarification. A few clicks ago, we saw Yuno get waylaid by the sheriff, I believe it was. Yeah. Does he still have an arcane ward up? Or did I just see him really get brutalized?
You did. Yeah, yes to both. Or I guess no to the first thing. You don't see an aura when he's got his aura up. It just sort of like shimmers in place and then disappears, and then it's just there.
Right.
but you did not notice anything happening when he was getting waylaid, and he was just taking axe wounds to the shoulder. Do I have that right, Ken?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, if I may, between the two rounds, can I just say something as a quick interjection?
You can do it after Maven's turn.
After Maven's turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because she just saw Baranor get tossed to the ground, and she's about to, like, knee-jerk react like a son of a bitch right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Go, Maven.
Okay, well, we're gonna come up here, and we're going to start... Okay, so for the pugilist gloves, does that negate the +1 for my unarmed strikes?
No, that's
No?
on
Okay.
top.
Perfect. Okay, just wanted
That
to
is
make
a
sure.
+1 weapon. Yep. +1 weapons
Okay.
add that bonus to on top of anything. Unless it's like you can't use a magic item because you're like a level 1 monk or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 22 to hit.
Yep, that hits Gorg. Sheriff Gorg.
Ooh, for 14 points of damage.
All right.
And I would like to, for the first time ever, attempt stunning strike.
Okay. That's true.
DC is really low. DC is really low. But hey, why not try it now?
Yeah. It's kind of like, I guess, Axton's never used, he's a cleric. I think he can use Spirit Guardians as well. And he rarely does.
Yeah.
All right. Can everyone see that bar?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Stunning Strike is a con save, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So your Stunning Strike, what does that look like? Your first Stunning Strike, which I updated this guy's mini, which I'm really proud of it. It looks so cool. And that's what he looks like. He doesn't look like wearing the hat and the duster like he did before. This is him.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does that look like?
She's going to do kind of like a roundhouse kick right to like the lower back to try to stun him from moving. Close, but he passes. So
By how much? Because that was one.
15.
Yeah.
15 is the DC. So
Don't count that 22. Okay. So he would have got a 16. I accidentally put his con a little higher than it is. So he absorbs this blow, right, with his kidney, and as you hit it, you've hit some pretty dense enemies before. Like you fought like a rock fire monster in the Hell Plane or whatever it was, but for a large, bulky, Incredible Hulk-like body, his hide is exceptionally tough, and it feels like you're hitting like a bag of cement, and it just kind of like crumples your fist a little bit. Not enough to break any fingers, but definitely enough to where he kind of looks down at you as you look up at him, and it's like, oh shit. But that's it.
Okay, well I'm gonna take one more strike at him for 18 to hit.
18 does hit.
Perfect. Solid 9 points of damage.
Okay.
And then for my bonus action, I'm going to
put this up there.
I can't, patient defense. Words are hard today. I'm gonna take patient, for the key point, take patient defense so that Rex has disadvantage against me.
I'll give you a patient defense little thingy. So, okay.
And that'll end my turn.
All right. I'm going to have Axton with his sword. He doesn't have that pistol yet. Neither does Kravish or Koza, for that matter. But he's going to take that big sword of his.
Something.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, as I'm seeing all of this unfold go down here, I start to say, it's like, oh, whoa, stand down, everybody, stand down, whoa.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, please.
23.
23. All right. Okay. You're going to see Axton is going to rest his sword on his kind of backwards on his hip and hold. Well, no, he's going to hold the tip of his sword at the sheriff. So I want to say you've definitely affected him. This one right here, he's going to take his large silvered pistol and just sort of holding on you, but not currently firing. Right. These two over here both look still intent on firing at the group. And I'll say, since you've got this whole ruckus in front of you, these guys up here probably didn't even hear you. At least not enough to like really make any sense of it, or the one by where Maven was. But you have sort of given a calm to the immediate area around you and maybe some of the outliers, but we'll see. Okay, Axton, yeah, he's gonna stay his hand, and he's going to go into a tunnel fighting stance. Up next would be Kravish. You can actually run your full turn now, as he's going to kind of cede to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, no, this was not what we wanted. We are not having a shootout in the middle of a busy street.
Okay. Is that your full action?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to use an action just to try to help. Just using my gift of gab just to try to help kind of de-escalate things.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you roll. You can either roll a performance check or another persuasion check at advantage. Just to see where that plead lies.
32.
32 persuasion. Holy moly.
Nice.
Holy cow. All right. So I'm going to say that you get all of the deputies, all of them, to, you can see the tip of their fingers slide off their trigger and sort of rest on the trigger guard and lower their guns about 3 inches, maybe at your feet, not sure. That, however, does not have an immediate effect on Gorg, who right now is holding his double-barreled shotgun right at Koza and about to swing his axe in either Axton or Maven's direction. So that is where we're at there.
Okay. So, all right. Want to use my movement.
Okay.
To see if I can, get a little bit closer and maybe even try to get between the two. Okay.
He is not large. He's only medium, but he does have a reach of 10 feet. Just so you know.
That's okay. I'm just trying to get in there. It's like hands out, not weapon. I'm just saying, whoa.
Okay. All right. You made it.
All right. And really can't do much of any damn thing.
Well, you have a free action at your disposal right now. Okay? Because it is this was your turn, and during your turn, you didn't say anything other than using your action. But you guys know, on your turn, I'll let you do a free, if you want to shout something quick. Or end your turn.
Okay. All right. I am going to, I'm going to hold on to the rest of my bardic inspiration. So, no. Is that, where's
He's right adjacent to you.
Right here? Okay. I am going to use my lay on hands feature.
Okay.
And I am going to restore 7 hit points.
All right. Is that magical? Is that because of the paladin spell?
It's a paladin feature.
Feature. Got it. Then in that case, yeah, I'll say it works. What'd you give him?
I gave him 7 hit points back.
Seven hit points to Yuno. All right. Yuno, it is currently your turn. And then after that is Gorg.
Is drinking a potion a bonus action or an action?
Bonus action.
Okay,
At least in my campaigns.
I'm gonna chug one of the potions of haste that I've been lugging around.
Okay.
And Yuno is going to run like hell.
Okay.
So I am going to dash, which dash doubles movement, right?
It does.
Okay. So Yuno is going to run. We'll just assume off the map. Yes. So Yuno is going to run. And
now for my next impression.
I get
Jesse Owens.
I get another action. So I am going
does Gorg
to
get an attack of opportunity against you?
I don't know how the rules work on haste for
This
that.
is, I found Potion of Haste, but it's on Minecraft.com, so I don't think that applies. Here we go. No, that's Potion of Speed. If it's just using the haste spell, then we'll just go to the spell. I just want to know if he gets to try to grab your cape, because you do have a cape. Come on.
No capes.
It's advantage on dex saving throws. And it does, let's see, hold on. Can be used only to take the attack dash. You took dash, not disengage. So I'm going to say he definitely gets to grab your cape. So before you can take off the map, I need you to make a dex save, but you get at disadvantage because you're super fast.
You mean I get advantage?
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said disadvantage, so I just wanted to make sure.
You get advantage because you're super fast.
Okay, so first one was a unnatural 20. So unnatural 20.
Okay. Let me just say here. Contested. Yeah, he got an 11 on a kind of a reflex grab. So, yeah, you book. You successfully book. He does like run his hands through the folds of your cape. You just sort of twist away and just take off. And he's just like, he's shaking his fist at you.
So I'm going to use the second action to hold a spell.
Okay.
And that spell will go into effect if we continue to engage. So if this calms down, the hold spell not going to go into effect.
Okay. You got it. How far away would you say you are? You're double
I am
speed?
so I'm 60 feet away.
Okay. Let's see. That might not be so far off the map.
Well, from where I was, it was, I think I'm at
You were right here.
45 or 50.
60 feet. 60 feet's like 2 or 3 squares off the map. Okay, so that's where you are. No problem. And you're holding, what would you say you were holding?
I'm going to hold the chain lightning spell.
Okay, got it. Dokie.
Because I can cast that from 150 feet away.
All right. You take off. Gorg spins around and he puts the two barrels of his shotgun. And Maven, you are right next to him when he does this. He puts both barrels at the temple of Kravish and cocks them both back. You see his big pudgy green finger.
This is bad.
Covers the trigger, and you see him beginning. You can see a squeezing of the trigger as he halts and rests. And by the way, what are you doing at this moment? Are you in motion, ready to strike, or are you standing fast? That was to Maven.
Okay. I am. My thought was that I was waiting. However, now I am absolutely getting ready to beat the shit out of this guy.
Okay. So he is going to rest that gun barrel right up against Kravish as he approaches with his palms open. And just as he, you assume he is to swing his axe, he rests it and almost stops your shoulder, which, as you're in motion to grab for something and react, the razor thin edge of this huge great axe presses into your shoulder just a bit. You take 1 point of slashing damage. And he rests it right on your shoulder and holds the gun to Kravish opposite him. So he's in a big Mexican standoff pose. And he just rests it on your shoulder. You hear a hush of the crowd and a kind of a gasp. And just as you feel like he's kind of relaxing with the axe, but tensing with the gun hand, he looks you in the eye and says, "Call off your dogs. Prepare to get winged. Ready, manacles? Hook 'em up." And you see the hushedness of the crowd tense up to a quiet silence and murmuring as the Wranglers approach, their guns drawn. You see each of them holding one hand on the gun, the other hand reaching behind them in a set of manacles for all of you. Let's see. As you are still near the melee, you are going to see this whole group of Wranglers here, all sort of back up and surround your position. I'm going to give you, you can react however you want as this one gets even with you over on the roof over here. Do you use your held action or do you hold still?
I'm going to use my hold action.
All right. Who you hitting?
So, hold please. Gotta just read something real quick.
Sure.
I gotta do math.
Oh, okay. We love math. That's what D&D is. Click, clack, rocks, and math.
So,
hell yeah.
I'm gonna launch it right at this dude.
Okay.
And I can branch out at all three.
All right.
And I'm gonna fire my pistol too at this dude. Let's fuck him.
All right. They need to make con saves of some kind or dex saves?
Dex.
How's that? Dex save it is. Okay. The first one rolls quite terrible with an 8. The second one rolls quite terrible with a 6. Oh my god, a natural 1. There's 4 of them. There's 4 of them. Can I get one do well? All right, 16. Nope. I still don't think that passes.
Nope, DC 17.
All fail. Yep. And you can roll damage and then fire your pistol, which is just a, I guess it uses your spell casting ability, and then it's just a D4 or D6?
D6.
Yep.
57 is the lightning damage.
Okie doke.
Just want to see something.
Don't think anybody hit these guys. Maybe this guy. So we'll say this guy's definitely unconscious.
And then just a spell casting. Cooperate. So 19 to hit.
That does hit. You're pretty close. Kind of.
And a 6.
6, all right. So this guy also falls unconscious and bleeding out. The other two, surprisingly, shake it off, but they're not looking good at all. And they are going to act on Gorg's turn, as it is still his turn, and fire both at and who else? Anybody else in that area? Not really. Nope. Okay. So the first rifle shot is a 15. Good God. I'm rolling terrible today, folks. What the hell? Not fair.
Was that on me?
The second,
Because 15
Oh,
does not hit.
no.
9, neither does a 14. These guys got rocked by that lightning bolt. So, yeah. However, this guy here is super, super close and just kind of looks Kravish right in the eye and just kind of looks from the carnage next to Yuno up to Kravish. He's going to swing both of his pistols at Kravish and say, "Looks like they ain't quitting, boss. Yee-haw!" And he's going to shoot both of these sixers at Kravish and at Koza, one at each. He's aiming for your hearts.
Oh, no.
The one for Koza is a 25. The one for Kravish, yep, and 25 was enough for him to get his aim properly. So he's actually going to hit you square in the chest, Koza.
Oh, shit.
The other one's only a 15 on Kravish, which I'm sure does not hit.
It does not yet.
Yep, it just goes right over your head.
Or it doesn't penetrate the breastplate.
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense, doesn't it? All right, Mr. Koza. There we go. Sorry about that. That's going to be 18 points of piercing damage right square to your chest. It was an aimed shot. It was an aimed shot. So I need you to make a con save or fall unconscious.
A con save?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
This is a bullet.
Come on,
This is
you got
not
this.
this is not a knife or something. This is a bullet.
All right. Oh, boy. Come on.
Come on, Koza.
All right.
All right. Oh, my gosh.
Okay. I need you to
That
make
was
a note.
so nerve-wracking.
Yeah. You currently have a bullet in your chest.
Oh, yay. Now I'm Iron Man.
Yep. Yeah. It went right
We
through
got a
your
super
wood.
strong electromagnet.
Yeah, I went right through your wood armor. No problem.
Great.
Blasted right through it. Okay. Since this is continuing, it's going to instantly trigger everyone to be hostile again. So this guy here, he's going to shoot at the biggest threat I think he sees is Yuno in the back, but he can't get to him unless he moves. So let's make him move. Yeah, he's gonna use all of his movement to get right up to Koza. And Koza, I need you to make a strength saving throw. He's gonna wrap one of his arms around your he's gonna jump on your back, I should say. You're really tall. And he's gonna wrap one of his arms around your neck and hold a gun to the side of your head. Making Koza make all the rolls today. Strength save.
Yay. Because I have such great strength. Yeah, look at that.
So you're...
Wait, don't you get a bonus because you're a furbolg?
I don't...
Strength saves?
I don't think the strength saves. I think it's just strength checks.
Or moving stuff.
No, I just count as one size larger when I'm determining carrying capacity and what I can push dragon lift. It doesn't give it anything to strength saves.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, what looks like a drow, is wrapping his arm around your neck, and he's pressing one of his 6-shooters right to the side of your temple. And he's going to make an intimidation check on Kravish, Koza, Baranor, pretty much everybody in this area. Intimidation check, so I'm just going to need a wisdom save from everybody in this circle, this area.
Wisdom save.
Against intimidation, would it be a charisma save?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Aw, but I rolled so well.
Charisma. No, you know what? You can keep the base roll. Just add your modifier. You all can keep that base roll, whatever it was, or unless you haven't done it yet. But he's right. It would be charisma.
So I technically got a 16.
All right. Let's see. Against his...
Plus 8, that's a 14.
You guys got to beat a 10. Yeah. Looks like everybody did except for Kervish.
No, that's just the raw roll. For some reason, D&D, I'm rolling a saving throws. So I add 8 to that. That's a 14.
Yeah. 14's enough. So, I'll just say this guy is not very intimidating, swinging from Koza's neck like a little monkey. Because Koza's very big.
I imagine his feet are off the ground.
They're off. They're up by your waist.
Yeah. He's just dangling.
He's a cape right now. But that's going to be him. This guy over here. I'm sorry this is taking so long, I swear. This guy over here is definitely going to fire at, we'll just say, he's going to arc around and try and shoot Yuno. Yeah, that's a 25 from the rifleman on the roof.
That will hit. Wait, hold on. 25? Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. He has several different kinds of bullets. This is I'm just rolling damage, but I'm going to need you to make a con save, as this is a special... Oh, man, I kind of won. Really? 10 points of piercing. And make a con save, as this is a special kind of bullet.
Is it covered in pee? I feel like it's covered in pee.
It's definitely covered in some kind of excrement. Not sure if 22? It's an animal. 22 is enough to save against the poison of sleeping. Holy shiza. I mean, dang tootin'.
10 points?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Okay.
That actually
where is the turn order? There it is. Yeah, I hope it hurt. And I think that's the end of my turn. I have no more guys to do stuff with. Gorg.
Next to your punk asses are conscious.
That's right. They are. Koza, it is your turn. With Baranor on deck.
Okay.
You do not have a gun. He's blowing a huge flare, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Right in the mini
face.
Peel the little man off of me.
Yeah.
He's going to peel the little man off of him.
Something about cold, dead fingers.
Where's the measure tool? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I can't get that guy. I don't think I can get that guy. No. Well... I'm just gonna... Because I can't tell if we're trying to de-escalate or if we're just going for it. So I'm going to try to cast Calm Emotions.
Okay. On who?
To it. Well, it says each humanoid in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point I can choose.
Oh, so it's an AoE.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
All right. What's the
so
save?
I could, if I put it here. Damn it. The save is a Charisma saving throw.
Okay.
I can't. Okay, I'm gonna put it right here just to de-escalate the immediate area. Because I think if I put it here, I can get this guy too. He's too far away. You know what? I'll just put it here so I can get this whole area with everybody around it.
Okay. So they all pass their save.
Shit.
And that's because when you extend your hand, nothing happens. You can feel the difference between nothing happening and magic failing. And this is a failure of a magical initiation within you.
I forgot there's no magic. God damn it. Well, then in that case, I'm just going to put everything down that I'm holding, and just throw my hands up.
Okay. You're going to surrender. All right. It is Baranor's turn. What do you think, Steph? Should I go for it? I think her Roll20 or Discord or something is malfunctioning. I don't know if she can protest. She's definitely muted.
Roll20 is not working.
Aw.
It literally, like, whenever I try to open Baranor's character sheet, it shuts down. It just crashes the whole thing. I get a black screen, so I have no idea what's going on.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to make him use his bonus action to roll a perception check to see if he catches the vibe of Pravish and Koza at the moment. Because right now, you and Axton are... Actually, Axton is also kind of hold-fasting right now. But Maven is not.
No, she is not.
So he's going to try to kind of read the room and see where everyone else is at with the perception check that I'll have him roll. I'll roll that.
I'm sorry. Every time I try to open it, it just crashes the whole website.
All right.
He's got a good perception. Probably passes.
Yeah,
he catches sight of Koza and Pravish. He's gonna. I guess he's got his. I don't remember how I had him fighting, or if he was, but he definitely has his bow out. He's gonna throw that on the ground. Put his hands.
Okay.
Which leads us to
He just texted me he wants to surrender anyway, so that's fine.
Got it.
Perfect. I'm pretty sure Maven is still very much blinded by rage at this point. So he's gonna schwack him a couple more times.
Okay.
Or at least try. 27 to hit, and then
That
8
does
points
hit.
of damage.
Okay. To Gorg?
And then yes.
Okay.
And then 29 to hit, and of course I rolled the 1. 7 points of damage.
8 and 7 is 15.
It's 15, yeah. And then for my bonus action, she'll try hitting him one more time. Ooh, 15.
15 does not hit, unfortunately.
Okay.
More of that concrete bag schwacking with your knuckles. This one actually cracks your fingers pretty good.
Ow.
Yeah,
That'll be my turn.
He's just a big beefcake. In a very nice, I guess that'd say like a deerskin vest. Shiny buckle and his 7-pointed star badge on his chest. It is Axton's turn. He is actually going to advance. He's going to move to this side right here, and he's going to actually take out. He's going to drop his sword and immediately shift behind his back and pull out the Lion's Head Dragon Axe, and he's going to actually take your lead, Maven, and he sees him. All this motion with you hitting him, he sees that Gorg's finger is about to pull the trigger. He's still got that double-barreled shotgun pressed against Kravish's temple. And he's going to take...
I should have been rolling at advantage.
What's that?
I said I should have been rolling with advantage because I'm across from Kravish.
Oh, you know what? You can roll it again for that last throw, because that was a miss.
Okay. Cool. Nope, that's a natural 1, so... Okay, let's try.
Yep, as Gorg has this axe literally resting on your shoulder, you manage to kind of kick him in the solar plexus, and he just kind of scrapes the edge of that blade across your shoulder as you miss. It doesn't draw any blood, but it kind of it leans into the small wound it's already made. And Axton is going to try and hit him with the Lion's Head Battle Axe. Wherever it is. I feel like Barry would definitely go with this move. He was always a bit of a murder hobo, wasn't he?
Sometimes. Does he get advantage because of
Yes, he does.
Or... Yeah.
Oh, he does. He certainly does. That's a 26. Even if that's the lowest, that'll hit. Yeah. But let's see if he crits. There we go. 25. Okay, well, the 25 hits. Or, excuse me, the 26 hits. And he puts in for 18 points of damage. Does anybody want to use their reaction before he uses his extra attack to communicate? Because there seems to be a divide in the party as far as intent right now. And I'm going to allow everybody to kind of have a chance to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, guys! A little bit more tone of desperation in my voice there.
Not going back to prison.
Not going back to jail.
Right. All right. So,
I don't want another Brackenshire.
let's see. I should do perception. Where are you compared to Axon? No, you're right next to him. We should definitely do some kind of... Let's do a wisdom's... you know what? Let's do an intelligence save. Whoever gets to do one of those, huh? Axon's going to see if he saves on intelligence on whether he's going to be smart right now. Hey, he got a 14.
Not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll say he stands down. After he buries this axe into Gorg's kind of butt cheek, I guess. Yeah. And end his turn, except he's going to use a bonus action, go into his tunnel defense. That's going to end Axton's turn. Kravish, you are up with Yuno on deck.
Right. Okay. So, I'm again going to be, please stop. We aren't here for wanton bloodshed.
Okay.
Like, that's not who we are, as far as these people know.
Yeah, Kravish, you can actually feel an acoustical boost from Anthem's Edge that is giving you kind of a, maybe a decibel or two more of volume as you shout over the battlefield amidst the gunshots, because there's just bang, 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 bang all over the place.
Yeah.
And so it's getting drowned. Your regular voice is getting drowned a little bit. You kind of feel like a hand on your shoulder of Anthem's Edge energy, and kind of boosts your voice. So I'm going to say that's enough to quell this dude on Koza's back. He doesn't hop down just yet. This guy right here, I'm going to say everybody within shooting range.
I look directly at Yuno as I'm talking.
Yeah. It definitely gets downrange. Would you like to use movement, bonus action, anything like that?
No. I'm going to stay right where I am, right here next to the sheriff. I'm not moving.
All right. Kravish ends his turn between Koza and Gorg. You're up. What would you like to do as these guys over here are going to swing wide? One is gonna kind of use his action, even though you're off the map, to get to the other side of you, which brings him to kind of right here as you're away, you're off the map. Like he's gonna surround you again. That's what he looks like he's doing. It is your turn.
I'm going to hold 2 actions. I'll hold 2 spells.
How's that?
Because I have haste still going. I'm very fast.
You are very fast.
So the first one I'm going to hold is if this dude tries to put manacles on me, he's getting blighted.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my robe of spell splitting, if that happens, to also target this a-hole.
Got it.
And then as a second action, again, only if the confrontation gets violent again, I'm going to huck a firebolt at this guy.
All right.
But I'm going to hold both of those to see how this all shakes out.
Okay.
That will end my turn.
Well, it is Gorg and the Gorgonauts. I just made that up. That's not the name of his gang, I promise. But he is definitely going to... Let's see. Gotta push Reach back. Yeah, okay. Gorg is going to not really be paying attention to what Yuno is doing right now. He is more focused on those around him. So, with Maven still continuing her advance, right? I don't think you stopped what you were doing.
No, I did not.
You tried to hit him a bunch.
I did.
He is going to... I'm going to need you to make a strength saving throw. He is going to kind of hook his
awesome.
great axe around your neck and try and force you to the ground.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, not great, but not awful. 14.
Oh my god. How is that possible? The guy's very strong.
And Maven is not. Maven is not strong. She's not a strong lady, okay?
Nah, but she's ropey.
She is. She's wiry.
All right, he's gonna attempt to hook his his axe around your neck, and you're just gonna push yourself free and flip. There's got to be some kind of dope monk shit attached to this. You know, not just not yeah. And you're gonna kind of flip backwards out of his immediate reach, and you see his finger go for his trigger, and he's gonna look right at Maven and say, "Tell that wizard to stand down. Your friend here's getting both barrels sawed off." And you can tell right now he's not fooling around. His red eyes are aglow. He is going to hold an action. Guess what it is? However, this guy here is going to use his movement, and he's going to flank wherever you are. And they're both going to have their guns pointed right at you, and they both have sets of manacles. And one of them's going to look at you and go, "Get on your knees, wizard."
Nope, he's getting blighted.
All right, go ahead and let loose with your spell.
Gotta make a con save.
All right. That's con save. What happened to the music? This fight is lasting longer than I thought it would. Okay, sorry, con save. They don't have great con. One of them... Oh, now I get a natural 20. And the next one is very high with a 17. Probably not high enough for you.
They both pass, but they're gonna still take half no matter what.
All right.
So hold on. I gotta do math. So 44 is full, so 22 is half necrotic damage.
Okay. This guy goes down. And this guy goes down, even though he passed. They both go down.
And then this dude is going to take a firebolt to the face.
All right. With that, Gorg is going to pull the trigger on his double-barrel shotgun, which is point blank with Kravish. It is an auto hit, as he held it to his temple.
Everybody say thanks to Yuno. Thank you.
This is going to be double damage. Let's see here. That's 14, which is 28. And the other barrel is 40 points of shotgun blast damage, making 64 the total damage for this attack.
Oh my god.
I'm still up, but that hurt like hell.
You are not up. You are unconscious. I'm sorry.
What?
That's this game mechanic. You get shot point blank with a gun, and it hits. No matter the damage, you're still unconscious.
Okay, then.
You're not at 0. but you are out. What the heck is with freaking Henry?
Oh, this dude's still going to take a firebolt face.
There we go. Yeah. All right. He's going to take a firebolt. Understood.
Yep. 17 to hit.
17 does hit him.
17 points of fire damage.
Hold on, I gotta... How do I make Kravish? Well, you know what? I'm gonna give Kravish big fat legs. There we go. Okay. How many points you said? Sorry. Oh,
17.
17? Alright, he's still up. He is still up. Okay. Oh, I lost my turn order. That's why I don't know what the heck's going on. So much to see. Koza, it is currently your... Actually, wait. It is not, because Gorg still technically has another attack with his axe, and he is going to definitely try to hit Maven with it. Yeah. He's you guys have pushed him to the brink. Does a 18 hit Maven?
Just barely.
Just barely, huh?
Yeah, that's her AC is 18.
He's gonna carve up Maven for 19 points of slashing damage as he swings with his great axe.
Okay.
All right. It is Baranor's turn. He is visibly shaken right now. He just watched Kravish kind of get the top of his head blown off. And I'm going to say that he is going to disengage and back up. And he is going to, I believe he has something that he can heal with. Because he's a ranger. They do have healing abilities, I think.
Yes, he does.
None of it's in his character sheet. What the heck?
He mostly uses D&D Beyond, I think. He doesn't have a spell on his character sheet.
Jesus. All right.
Let
me see if I can find it.
computer.
Let me see if I can find it in 30 seconds, or I'm having him end his turn. Rain. He's probably, if he listens to this, losing his mind.
He's going to be really unhappy. Let's see if I can find it on his computer.
Tireless doesn't help. Okay, he gets first level spells. Ranger spell list. Plus other stuff.
Okay, I have his stuff.
Yep, he's got cure wounds.
He does have cure wounds.
So he's going to use a first level spell. And I don't... Is that touch? Those of you who use it? It is. Okay, never mind. He's not going to back up. He's not going to back up. He is going to shift right over here and put both of his hands over Kravish's unconscious head that is actively bleeding out.
Great.
1d8 plus, which I think I can figure it out.
It's a +3.
Okay. D8 plus 3. Good. We got there. All right.
Only takes 2 people on 2 coasts.
Right? Not great. Kravish, you get 5 points of healing. You are still unconscious.
Okay.
And that is really all he's going to do. There's not much he can do to protect you, other than, you know what he's going to do? He doesn't have his bow in his hand. He's going to actually kind of lay in between you and Gorg, Sheriff Gorg, and just sort of put one of his hands up, like, please, stop. That's going to end his turn. It is Maven's turn.
Okay. She's very unhappy. Okay. 26 to hit. That's an unarmed strike.
Okay. Yeah, that hits.
10 points of damage.
Okay.
And she's going to use her new fancy ability to push him 5 feet to where Baranor used to be.
Can you push him to the side? You'd have to move it.
It just says 5 feet into an unoccupied space. Oh, it says.
I think it means behind them. You'd be pushing him on top of Kravish. Because that's what happens when Yuno uses his telekinetic shove.
Gotcha. And I'll move first or second. It doesn't.
So I'm guessing that's a strength save.
There's no save. It just happened.
Really?
I can confirm because I am new with this one, but it literally doesn't say anything about a save.
Huh. This is some of that Tasha's bullshit again.
Is Crusher Tasha?
I said post Tasha.
Gotcha.
No.
You know how the internet all went away? What'd you say?
Said if she's using like the crusher feet, that's player's handbook.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a player's handbook one. Yeah.
You can just automatically push somebody to their death off a cliff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll move there.
I'll make sure never to have one of my enemies on a cliff.
It's probably a good idea. But she'll move over here and then attempt to hit him again.
Huh, that is what it says. It's in Tasha's. Of course it is. Of course it is. So he moves there.
Idea.
Good job.
There we go. And she'll follow him. She can only use it once a turn. Don't worry. Only gonna do it once. 18 to hit, or 28 to hit.
28 does hit.
9 points of damage.
All
She's
right.
gonna do flurry of blows. And do 2 more. God, work. Thank you. 21 to hit.
21 does hit.
For 13 points of damage. And 19 to hit. I'm not sure where the line.
19 also hits.
For 10 points of damage.
Chipping it away. Chipping it away. You guys can see
And
that
that'll be
going
her
down,
turn.
right? All right.
Yep. Again. And that's her turn.
It is.
Man, it's going from a shit ton to a hell of a lot.
Axton is very confused. He's going to make another intelligence saving throw to see what he wants to do because it seems like no one in the party is on the same page, and he's just kind of figuring out if he wants to keep attacking or not. I think that's fair on his part. How smart is he? Intelligence save. He doesn't know what to do, so he's going to choose to do nothing. He's got his. He just watched Maven shove this big orc away and follow it with a bunch of physical attacks, and he's just going to kind of have his lion's head axe in his hand. But you know what? We'll have him move right here. How about that? Okay. Kravish, I need you to make a death saving throw. I know you're not at 0, but you are bleeding out.
Okie dokie. Death saving throw. Let's see.
Hey, you get to make him this time at least.
Mm-hmm.
8. That is a fail.
Oh, no.
All right. You are next. You're way off map. You're on your own.
Okay. I'm going to have my familiar apply a potion of healing to Kravish.
All right.
Because he is close. So, hold on. A potion of greater healing.
Right on.
which I have the stats somewhere.
I think it's let's see, 1d4 plus con 2d8.
It's 4d4 plus 4.
Got it.
Yep. So, and then,
And you're just flying this guy right straight at Kravish.
yep.
Okay.
And then,
Go ahead and roll. Roll your potion's potency.
or does Kravish roll? Or does it
It's
not
gonna
matter?
It's gonna be. Right now it's +2 because he's unconscious. It's just what it is. He doesn't get to like drink it. So it'd be +2.
So that's-
no, it'd be +4. 4d4 plus 4.
So 4d4 is 12 plus 4 is 16.
16. All right, 16 points of healing drop out of the sky right here as your familiar dissipates and drops the potion. It does not break, but that right here is where the potion rests. As you enter some space and your familiar just disappears. So I'm going to put a little thing to denote a potion on the ground. What should I make? How about a little blob? No, that doesn't make any sense. What else did you want to do? It is still your turn.
Okay, hold on. I'm figuring some shit out here. Because I'm a wizard and
You
I'm
do
smart.
you, man.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to huck a fireball right here, and that's a 30-foot radius.
All right.
20-foot radius, sorry. Centered right here.
All right.
I can't make a circle.
You
It won't
can.
cooperate with me.
Aw, too bad. I'll do it.
You can give me an eclipse, which I don't think is the...
I wish I could make a point on the map and then create an aura around it like Kravish can do with his Spirit Guardians, but it won't let me do that. I don't know why. How about oh no, Eclipse is probably all right. 20-foot radius would be this. Hold on. This is 20 feet, so it would be down to there. Okay. And it's going to let me grab it. Come on. There we go. And you want it centered on this guy?
Nope.
Oh, centered there. Okay.
Centered right on there.
Okay. It's got to be as a radius. It's got to be between two things. This. We'll just make it like that. Does that encapsulate everything you want?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I get a deck save.
Yep. These
Correct.
two guys with deck saves.
All right.
But no matter what, they're going to take half.
Not super dexterous. And not very good rolls. Man, he's going to take full damage.
What about this guy?
That guy actually takes nothing because as the fireball spreads, it like hits a definitive barrier right about here and here and here, and there is this huge sort of wedge of no effect where it doesn't penetrate, and this guy, he doesn't even dodge out of the way. He just stands there. It doesn't affect him at all.
That is exactly what I wanted to know. Okay. But that other dude's gonna have a bad fucking day. He's gonna take 33 points of fire damage.
Yeah, he's unconscious.
Good.
He is
And crispy.
unconscious now. Yeah, very crispy.
And then, okay. Do something else. The distance thing is all fucked up. Okay, I can still hit that guy too. Well, you know what? F this dude too.
Okay.
Another fireball.
All right.
And it doesn't pass through space. It's centered on space.
Oh, I know. It is. They do say it's a little mote of energy that travels, but it's fine. He gets a 6.
He also is going to have a very bad day of 27 points of fire damage.
All right. It blows him off the roof. He falls 10 feet. I'm going to make him take 10 feet of fall damage. That's just a d6. Yeah. Oh, I roll high with a d6. How does that happen?
And that will end my turn.
All right. It is Gorg's turn. He's going to use his bonus action. You see him click something with on the handle of the shotgun. The whole barrel set flips down, and he's going to slam them down on his belt where he's got like a row of these shotgun shells clipped to it. Clip it closed and put it against Kravish's head again. And you see him wrap his finger around the trigger. And he looks at Yuno, and then he looks over at Maven, and then he kind of scans over to Baranor. And he's going to take his axe, and it looks like he's going to use all of his strength, and he brings the axe down, and you see it catch. And right now, Axton is not wearing his armor. Catch him on the right arm, and you see that great axe cleave Axton's arm clean off. It drops to the ground. His arm begins bleeding profusely, and he just kind of drops to his knees, grabs the stump where his arm was. His arm is, as it lies on the ground, bleeding. And you hear Gorg, "Now listen here. Y'all want to continue with this? We can party all day long, because there's more of us than there are of you." And you hear him stomp his foot on the sand of the thoroughfare, and behind houses and on top of roofs, you see more of his deputies enter the foray. We'll put one up here. We'll put one up here, around here, entering from there. You actually see somebody kind of creep up next to you, but they're staying behind this wagon or whatever this is. Definitely not coming within melee range of you, but there's another one that comes up over a roof on this one. And he is going to give everyone in the party a chance to react, and he's going to rest his eyes on Kravish. So, Maven, we'll start with you. You get to react first.
Okay, I am going to... I'll put my hands down. Literally don't have any. I'm not using any weapons currently.
Okay. With that, this guy is going to close his distance, and he's going to grab your wrists, and you feel him going for a set of manacles. Do you resist?
No.
Can't do anything yet. Okay, you don't resist? All right, you are restrained. And Gorg is going to look over at Yuno and say, "Make your move, wizard. Come forward. Surrender yourself, or your whole party dies here and now. Starting with this one." And you see him pressing his shotguns into Kravish's temple again. Let's do... Go ahead.
Theatrically try to, get over there.
He's got you by the wrists. If you want to make a strength save, sure. You want to pull free.
Strength save. Right. Okay, well, that goes.
Kravish reacts by continuing to bleed. Definitely. 21. I'm going to say, let's just, for good measure, make this a contested one. He doesn't have very much strength. Maybe I'll roll high. Oh, but he doesn't. All right, you get free, and Gorg is actually going to, as you skitter past, Gorg is going to throw the deputy a dirty look, and then he's going to take the hook of his handle, and he's going to actually grab the manacle chain between your wrists, and he's going to pin you to the ground with his great axe.
Okay.
So you are now on your back.
All I was trying to do is, like, lay on top of Kravish, very a la Pocahontas and John Smith from the movie. That's all I was doing.
I'll give you about 6 milliseconds of contact as you do kind of lean down, and your face right now is right next to the end of the barrel of his gun, and he kind of grabs your manacles with the end of his great axe, yanks you back.
It's
Definitely
very
do a little of that.
But still,
Yes.
yeah.
Very upset. All right, what is Koza doing? Your hands are currently up.
Yeah. They're going to stay up. I'm not surrendering at all, or I'm not resisting at all.
Okay, yeah, you're going to be restrained in manacles. They have to use 3 pairs because you're huge.
That is my only act of revenge, that my wrists are too big for their weak little cups.
They abandon the manacles, and they just kind of like tie your wrists with rope real good, and then tie those together, and then they kind of wrap it around and around and around. Otherwise, they're kind of stuck there going, does anybody have any more manacles? I'm out. All right. Baranor is, I'm going to make the executive decision to say he is falling to his knees and putting his hands up, and they are then also manacled. Maven, you are manacled. Axton is currently bleeding on the ground, grabbing his, it looks like he's trying to weave some kind of a healing spell, and it's not working, and he's just like, it looks like he's starting to get pale. Kravish, I need you to make another death save, please. 5. That is another failure.
Not good.
All right. Yuno, you are up next. What is Yuno doing in this situation right now? The sheriff has 2 of the barrels of his sawed-off pointed right at Kravish, and everybody else in that little circle is manacled or lying prone.
I will holster my guns.
You holster your guns. Okay. Well, it is not my turn yet, so you do have an action. I'll let you holster him for free. How do you like that?
And I will move closer.
Okay.
And that'll end my turn.
Okay. Gorg is going to, I'm going to say, insist on his turn upon his... Okay, Gorg is going to kind of turn. He's still got that gun pressed against Kravish's unconscious, bleeding body. His entire body is limp. He's not convulsing. He is just not moving. And Gorg is going to take his axe and bring it around Maven, around her head, and kind of cradle her head with the bottom of the axe and press that blade right against your neck. And he's going to say, "Hook the wizard. Let that be a lesson to y'all." And you see him start to rake that axe across your neck when you hear, "All right, halt. That's enough." And the whole crowd goes quiet as these two guys, come on. This guy comes over here. This guy comes over here. They're going to try to hook manacles on you, you know, as you hear this voice from somewhere. How do you react?
I do nothing.
Okay. Well, nothing turns into surrender as they grab your hands and manacle them together. I don't think you were holding anything, were you?
No, I holstered open hand.
Okay, yeah, and you were holding a spell?
Nope.
Okay.
Just had nothing going on.
Got it. Well, you do feel them pull the gun out of your holster, and he's actually going to thump you on the back of the head really, really hard as the other one puts manacles around your wrist. This is going to be an auto hit, and he's going to do some bludgeoning damage. It's probably not going to be enough to knock you out, I'm sure, but he's going to do it anyway. Oh, come on. Wow.
They give you a love tap.
How embarrassing. Yeah, he's just kind of like tap you on the top of the head and you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Ay. But he's got you hooked. Everybody else is hooked. And you all spin around and you see kind of the small... Let me change the music changed up here. You kind of turn around and you can all see the sort of short, maybe like 5-foot frame of a humanoid with the sun behind him, just a black silhouette. And you see him surrounded by there's people around that are kind of gathering around to see that they're kind of coming out of their hiding. As it looks like things have sort of stopped for a moment, and Yuno's getting dragged over to the group. And you hear, "That's enough. We don't need to see any more further bloodshed." And you turn around and you see this guy, right? I'll just say the 7-pointed star on top of the church behind him is, you see the same kind of symbol that is on the chest of each of these Wranglers. And as the sun he sort of steps away from the sun and a little bit into shadow, you can see him clearer. He's got, what look like elven ears and a pair of buck teeth that sort of protrude down from the middle of his top lip. And he's not as cheery as he is here, but you see this. And he just sort of tiptoes through the crowd, and you see the sheriff spin around and kind of grit his teeth. "What do you want, Reverend?" And he's like, "Please, let us stop this. Stop. We don't need to execute these people in the streets. They've given up." And you see the sheriff kind of, it looks like he's about to press the blade into Maven's throat, slowly pull the great axe away and just sort of keep you in place while he sort of relaxes his grip around the trigger of his double-barreled shotgun, which is still pressed firmly into Kravish's head. And Kravish, right before the moment comes that you see the the light fading from you, the light at the end of the tunnel is growing greater. You see that tunnel sort of disappear and become dark, and all of a sudden there's a green energy that sort of surrounds your head. And I'm going to say, for some reason that you don't really understand quite yet, you don't have to make any death saves. You are technically stabilized.
Still unconscious?
For now.
Okay.
And you see this character just sort of approach, and the sheriff just sort of looks down at him. "Fine. But I want these in collars." And you see this individual kind of approach. He's like, "All right, why don't we just get these folks settled down in some cells, and let's all just kind of bring it down a couple notches." Oh my goodness gracious! What terrible sight to see in the thoroughfare here. And he's going to approach Maven and Koza. He's going to approach from this side. He's going to pick up this potion and just kind of look at it and approach. He's going to open the cork, give it a smell. And he's going to go, I believe your friend can really use with this right now. And he's going to pull the cork. He's going to pour it into Kravish's mouth, not just splash it on his face. And Kravish, I will say your first moment of consciousness is that of gagging and coughing. As I roll some.
Well,
You're going to... I didn't mean to roll that D8. Real quick, you're going to take those... what was it? 16 points that had rolled for healing, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
that sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, and you're now conscious. Sorry, what was that, Ken?
I was like sputtering. It's like, no, stop. We don't want this. Oh, not again.
Maven bursts into tears.
You see the sheriff just sort of wave over some of the deputies, because you're all now pretty contained. They're going to slap manacles around Kravish's wrists. You don't really have a say in the matter. And stand you all up and kind of line you up. And you see the sheriff just sort of walk back and forth, looking at all of you. Because at this moment, I don't think anybody's unconscious anymore. Right? And you see the sheriff just sort of jerk this wand in a holster on his right hip, and it's got kind of a pistol grip on the bottom of it, so you can like hold it like a gun. And you see him decock it in the back, and you see, as you look throughout the crowd, you see that the tiara on Koza's hat lights up again, where it previously was kind of dark. If you're wearing a necklace, I'll say this, that you feel the magical essence of your robe return. And I'm going to say that there are several Sisters of the Star that Maven definitely recognizes, trailing this suited individual that has approached and helped revive Kravish. Trailing behind him, and they descend upon Axton. They're going to stabilize him a little bit better with some Cure Wounds. Go. We're going to do that twice. God, I'm rolling so bad today.
Jesus.
Holy moly. There we go. That's better. All right. He's going to get 16 points of healing. And you see that stump on his arm sort of remain, although it closes up a little bit. And they just basically kind of manacle his one arm to his belt, where he can't move his other arm because his right arm is kind of useless right now. And they all kind of stand you up, and you hear the sheriff say, all right, move him out. Get him to the jail, and we'll wait for the morning to see the judge. And he's going to lead you down the street. And you kind of see the crowd looking at all of you with this awe and this, their hushed whispers between you as you all sort of bleeding, battered, gunshot, gut shot, and not real feeling super great about yourselves at the moment. Down the thoroughfare, you've got a Wrangler ahead of you. You've got a Wrangler to the back of you. You're all walking single file. Your ankles are chained together. There's a clink clank every time you walk. And you've got Wranglers on either side of every other person. And the sheriff is leading you all to a building towards the northeastern section of town. You see another one of those large seven-pointed star hanging from a iron bracket above a building with bars kind of on every one of its windows. Is there anything anybody is doing, saying at the moment? We can go down. We'll go down the Discord list. Kravish, what is Kravish doing in this quarter-mile journey down the thoroughfare to the jeers and sneers of others in the crowd?
I'll just, to the good people of Cobb, as I'm kind of like still a little weak in the knees, I'm just saying, we offer our deepest and most humble apologies for this spectacle.
All right. One of the onlookers is going to throw a cabbage at you. So if you want to make a deck save at disadvantage,
Nah, I let it hit me.
it splats right on the side of your head. And you now have these leaves of like 3 days of letting this thing out in the sun. These leaves just sort of careen down your silver scales and get caught in your collar and such. And yeah, they don't smell that great. Looks like they brought the rotten fruit and veggies to the parade. All right. Koza, what is Koza doing as you are shackled or not shackled? You're roped up as you walk down the street.
I'm gonna try to keep my head down, not make a whole lot of noise, just show that I don't want to cause any freaking trouble at all.
You notice out of the corner of your eye, your daughter actually bawling her eyes out with a hanky at her nose, just trailing the group while she sticks to the porches of the buildings along this thoroughfare. And she's just got her hand out like, Papa, just don't do anything. Just do what they say and don't make a fuss and they won't do anything. Please just don't cause any more trouble. And she's just kind of like talking to you like that in little whimpers and whispers as she walks and follows you along. You can see her, but you're keeping your head down. You can feel your eyes welling up with tears at the idea that she's seeing you like this for sure. Maven, what is she up to?
She is crying hard.
Yeah.
With a very, but silently and with a very, kind of vacant expression.
Okay. Yeah. You're right behind Kravish, and you can see him. He's stumbling. The top of his head is still bleeding. I'm sorry, Kravish, but your hat is destroyed.
No!
Oh, well.
So you see the top of Kravish's head where you can actually still see skull. It looks like he's bleeding, not profusely, and limping terribly, and his head is slung low. Yeah, your eyes as well up with tears. How about you, Yuno? What's Yuno doing?
Nothing. He's just looking straight ahead.
Okay, yeah. As you do, your wand has been confiscated, your spellbook has been confiscated, and your satchel is also confiscated. And they're real worried about you, so they actually put like a Hannibal Lecter mask around your mouth, and it makes it so you can't really form words. I would say they got you on a wheeled gurney, but that would be too derivative. They're not messing around with you. And you just kind of see these people looking at all of you as you progress down the street. Something of a spectacle. And it's kind of a gut punch of a feeling to have been wrangled in this way by these people of authority. The sheriff kind of ducks under the threshold of the sheriff's office, and as you are all dragged in, linked ankle to ankle, you see him gesture to a bank of cells, and you're all instantly reminded of the dungeons of Stonehelm Keep and the dungeon cells of Dias Mordred's fortress, as these barred little, probably 5x9 little habitations surround you as you are marched down this bank of cells. They open 6 of them and unhook you by the wrist and unhook you by the ankle. As you enter this building and approach these cells, Kravish, Yuno, Koza, to a lesser extent Baranor and Maven, you can feel any magical energy on you has been stripped again, as you're pretty sure that in this jail magic really wouldn't work. As you felt that feeling a couple times now, especially about 10 minutes ago. They throw you back first into the wall and close the door with a iron-like squeal and a slam. They slide the bar in place of each of your individual cells and lock them all shut. You see one of the Wranglers locking Koza's cell last and puts the key that's on this kind of like a key ring. He hangs it on a hook behind the sheriff's desk, and the sheriff goes ahead and kind of throws a curtain that separates the larger portion of the office with the jail here itself. There are about 4 or 5 other empty cells, and you hear him kind of close an outer door to the jail and lock it, and it looks like there's one Wrangler sitting at the sheriff's office, or sheriff's desk, excuse me. He kind of puts his feet up, and you see him rest one hand on his gun belt, the other on his chair arm, and the sheriff and about 6 or 7 other Wranglers just kind of give you all one last look, kind of shrug and smirk, and depart the front door of the jail.
So, anything interesting happened while I was out? Anyone?
I think Kravish wants answers.
What the hell, man?
David is completely dissociated from reality at this moment in time. Give her a little bit.
I agree with Kravish. What the hell, guys? I mean, first of all, besides the obvious, that was the sloppiest we have ever been.
I mean, I thought things were working. I thought we were getting things to stand down. Then all of a sudden, I saw a lightning bolt, and then I saw a bright flash, and nothing.
Oh yes, the people that became instantly hostile when we listened to your plan of, just seeing if there's magic around, and threw us outside in the street with guns drawn. Yeah, they were going to be rational and reasonable people the whole way through.
Well, we at least could have communicated what our plan was. Half of us were trying to kill him, half of us were trying to stand down, and it just created a whole mess of things for us.
We've never stood down in the history of any of the adventures that we have been on, but today apparently was the day.
Well, when we got guns drawn to our faces and our magic doesn't work for some people, I don't see how we can fight our way out of this.
I seem to be doing a pretty good job.
Well, you also don't have personal stakes here.
All right. Sorry, I'm back. What'd I miss?
Yeah. Great job,
All right.
Don't blame me. This all started, Kravish, with your idea. Oh, let's cast Detect Magic in this random place.
Oh, don't try to pin this on me, big guy.
I'm saying we're all at fault here.
Yeah. Well, if that helps you sleep a little bit better, go for it.
So a lot of time passes, obviously. You do hear that deputy sort of he kind of rocks in his chair a little bit. Looks like he nonchalantly picks up a book on the desk, kind of thumbs through it a few times. He gets up and wanders back and forth and paces the office. Looks like he's a little bored. We'll say, what's that?
I try to talk to him.
Okay, yeah, he kind of paces around and kind of glances into the cells every now and then, kind of catches your eye, Kravish.
Yeah. It's like, so, what you reading over there?
He just kind of looks at you, and you see his, he kind of cracks something of a side smile, and you can see that his teeth are, rotted out. He does not have a lot of teeth in his head, and he just goes, I don't know. Can't really read it. And he kind of like gives you, he like pokes his finger on his hat and kind of brings his hat back a little bit so he can see a little better. And he's like, why, you looking for something to read?
Well, I mean, since I can't play a song, I might as well do something to keep my mind active.
He's going to kind of like stand there just for like a half a second longer than you would have if you were him. And he just kind of rears back and looks at the book and picks it up. It's like a foot long, maybe 7 inches wide, relatively thick, maybe 1.5 inches thick, brown leather cover. Just kind of holds it in his hand. And he's going to, so he's between him and you is like this 3-foot width of space where he's got to open up his door and then come in and open the common door to the jail. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to kind of take it and he's going to pass it through the bars to a place where you can, kind of reach it. He's like, well, here, tell me how it is then. It'll help you pass the time better, won't it?
Huh. Nice.
And as you reach for it, about 2 inches from your fingers, he drops it and hits the floor. And it's just out of reach. And he's going to go back to his little area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to say that a large portion of time, you guys, let's see, what time of day would it be? You guys kind of milled around
2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so it's definitely getting dark out. And in between that time, one of these Sisters of the Star did come into the jail, and you see her kind of offer each of you in your cell healing if you need it. And you see the deputy, he just kind of you see him place his hand on the stock of his gun, and he actually pulls up another gun and rests it on his shoulder. And he says, you know what, sister? You might want to hold off on making this place magically solvent. These here dangerous folks tend to get a little lively when they're able to cast spells, you know what I mean? And she kind of like hesitates a little and just kind of nods her head and says, it'll be all right. I'm sure they won't do anything in the cells. If they did, you and your strapping guns are likely to answer for it. It'll be all right. I trust them. Isn't that right? And she looks right at Maven, who you've got, tears streaming down your eyes at this moment. And you immediately look over at a very tired, haggard, and bleeding Kravish.
He just nods. Like, almost despondently. Like she's acknowledging that someone has spoken, but not really that anything has been said. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. It does. She's not happy. At all. None of this is good. So she's going to individually to all of you have your cells neutralized. I gotta ask, does anybody react by casting a spell when this happens?
No.
Okay. He's thinking. He's thinking about it. You gotta give him a minute.
Can I see the keys? Can I see the keys to the cell?
Yeah, you can. You can see them. They're hanging up by this large kind of maybe 7-inch across in diameter big iron ring. And they're hanging on a hook behind the sheriff's office, which is kind of over the shoulder of the deputy in here.
Do not get us hanged.
So she's going to make it to everyone's cell, and she's going to cast 3 rounds, hold on. I got to consider spell slots here. That is a level 1. Oh, yeah, she can do She's pretty high up there. She can definitely do, like, at least 2 rounds each. I feel like at least 2 rounds each. If she has to upcast, she has to upcast. Starting with Kravish. Oops. I'll get rid of Crusher. I trust Steph in her knowledge of Crusher. Okay. So, Kravish, let's start with you. 1. That's pretty good. That's 10 plus 6. 16 more.
Okay, cool.
Who else needs it? Who else has diminished hit points? I think everybody.
Me.
Okay.
Koza still got a bullet.
I am almost dead.
Yeah, she is going to use healing to push the bullet out of your chest for 8 points of healing. It just kind of spurts out of your chest and rolls onto the ground.
Can I keep it?
It's at your feet. She's gonna heal you again.
I'm gonna take it.
Okay. She's gonna heal you again for 12 points of healing. Coming around to Baranor. Baranor has definitely taken damage. She'll do it for him. He got slammed in the ground pretty hard. That's 11 plus 9. That's dirty 20 on healing for him. We'll do Maven next.
Maven denies. 8. She's fine.
Oh, you're gonna... Well, I don't know.
Somebody else can have it. I don't need it.
I don't know. Okay, she's gonna give that then to Yuno. That's gonna be 20 points of healing to Yuno. What do you do when you feel the effect of magic return to your body as she goes to heal you? Does she heal you?
Oh, yes, that would heal.
All right.
How far away are the keys?
You are sort of in the second to last cell of the ones that you guys are taking. So that's probably like they're 5 by 9. No, they're not. They're much narrower than that. They're like 4 by 9. 12. I'd say probably 20 feet away.
I want to roll. Let's see. Maybe perception to see if I think I can get them with mage hand in a way.
Roll Arcana and Insight, and it'll be kind of like a little bit of an advantage because you're rolling 2 different rolls. You can make Insight to see if it makes sense, and Arcana if you know of your understanding of mage hand.
Arcana's 25.
Okay.
And Insight's 18.
Okay. You know that this would be very tricky as there are 2 pairs of eyes that are looking at you that aren't your party. And you definitely understand the physics of iron keys, that they shake and make noise. And so you're pretty sure that this would be a very difficult, stealthy move. But you do know that this bunch of keys is less than 5 pounds, so you definitely be able to lift it with Mage Hand. You know, you see yourself devising a plan to like hover it above everyone's heads and like move across the ceiling or maybe on the floor. So it's definitely doable. It just looks very, very difficult.
I'm not going to risk it.
Okay. And just as you have that thought, you're kind of like, your mind wraps around like a feasible plan. Like, ooh, I could like snake it around like, you know, part of the back of that door and kind of keep it hidden and maybe hold it there. And maybe just as you have that thought, the Sister of the Star finishes her healing work. You feel much better, much more vigorous. And then you feel that effect of your magic slipping away once again. So all of you can enjoy the healing that you just received. She's going to pass back over to Kravish, and ask if you would like some more.
Well, I wouldn't turn it down, but only if there's nobody else that needs it.
You see Axton, who all during this time has been very, very quiet and kind of like hunched away from everyone. He just kind of pokes his stump. Yeah, he just kind of pokes his stump out of the cell, and he's like, "I could use more." And
I motion to her to like, I'll cope. Let him work with him.
Well, she does heal him for another 6, and why not another 11, bringing him up to full. You can see that his arm isn't regrowing. It's just the stump goes from like a large scab to the beginnings of like healed flesh around a scar. His arm is severed at the bicep, and while he appreciates the medicinal properties of the healing spell, he just kind of cradles his arm, and you see him kind of like shift his weight so that he's even more out of view from everyone and just kind of hunches, and you can see his shoulders kind of heave a couple of times, like maybe he's burying kind of a quiet sob. By the way, none of you have any possessions on you. They let Maven keep her holy symbol, as well as Koza is allowed to keep his holy symbol. And he lets Axton also he's got a hammer around his neck. I don't think Kravish, a paladin, gets a symbol or anything like that, correct?
I don't think I have. No, the only symbol I really have is, I guess I have like the platinum dragon on my breastplate and my Knight of the Wild insignia, again, on my breastplate.
Yeah, they take all that.
Yeah.
None of you have armor, unless it's like Koza's got like wood armor. They kind of let him stick with that under. But you guys have also lost any dusters or jackets you have. You're all kind of stripped down to like regular clothing.
You sure I still have my wood armor? I got shot point blank with a shotgun.
Yeah, well, the fact that it didn't really do much.
You got a handful of matchsticks.
I mean, it's still on you, but
you sure my lungs aren't made of splinters?
Oh, it's. I like the analogy of Tony Stark, except instead of metal chips, it is like little splinters. Like, imagine getting shot while wearing wood armor. Like that would just pepper you with little shrapnels.
Ow!
I'm just glad this is fantasy and not reality, because my EMT brain is like, well, let's move on.
Well, he's lost. Let's go.
Let's call the coroner.
Yeah, you guys all kind of resign yourself to because it's kind of dark in the cells. You're getting a little bit of light from a heavily barred window at the very end of the row of cells, letting in a little bit of daylight. It definitely feels like it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 8 or 9 at night. The sunset orange bathes you all in this kind of dim glow from the window as you all just kind of sit here and kind of kick your feet a little bit and scratch your boots across the stone floors. And you do spend the next evening here into night. Is there anything anybody would like to do before, I guess, rolling over and going to sleep?
Are the cells like...
No, go ahead, Maven.
Okay, I was just going to ask if the cells are all made out of like bars, or there's like solid walls between each cell.
So yeah, they're all barred. Like you guys could reach your hands through the bars,
like between the cells. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room. Yeah, you are. You know what? Tell you what.
There's a math, isn't there, Joe?
What'd you say?
There's a math, isn't there, Joe?
Just roll a d4, and if it's a 3 or 4, then you are. How about that? Give it a 50-50 chance.
I want to try to bribe the guard.
Of course you do.
Oh, I rolled a 1.
Okay. Yeah, he's on. Not only is he not next to you, he's on the opposite. He's across from you. We'll say you're next to Koza and Yuno, and Kravish, you're right smack in the middle of Baranor and Axton.
Yeah.
I would like to deeply meditate.
You're going to deeply meditate?
Yes, to try to...
All right. Crisscross applesauce, try to forget the past.
Full lotus position, no shoes on, 100% like old school monk.
Yeah. Cool. How would you like to bribe the guard, who, by the way, is not the same one at this point in time as was before? There is another, a different deputy. This is a very tall, very lanky. This is the one that that Baranor stole his pistol, who has since retrieved his gun, by the way. Sorry, Bogey. And he's going to be sitting at the desk. It looks like he's actually writing something at the desk. And there is another deputy that has joined him, who has a rifle slung over his shoulder and is looking out the front window onto the main thoroughfare. The front window is a square window, about 3x3, heavily barred, like all the others. So what does Yuno like to do?
I'm gonna hit the bar a little bit just to see if he notices.
All right.
Kind of make a little bit of noise, but not too much noise.
Let's say. Does he perceive your distraction? He's not super wise. Right? That's wisdom, right? That's pretty good. Yeah. He notices. He kind of raises his eyes, and you can see that he has very, very green skin, but it's not like the sheriff's kind of orc olive green. This is very blue green. And he's got these real weird irises, but he covers most of his face with a black sash just above the nose. And yeah, you see these kind of I don't know, they're kind of like a squiggle for a pupil. And he just kind of looks up from what he's doing very briefly at you. You got his attention for half a second. What are you doing?
I'm going to motion for him to come over.
All right, make a persuasion check.
Pretty good at persuasion. 23.
23. He just kind of cocks his head, slowly rises to his feet with a disgruntled sigh, and he's gonna walk on over to the bar, the set of bars that separate the jail cells from the rest of the office. And just kind of, you can see him lean his head on the bars and just kind of poke towards you. He's like, "What do you want?"
Well, I'm just curious if you've ever, thought about leaving Cobb, maybe retiring in the Empire somewhere. I could help facilitate that if you were willing to help me and my friends.
He's just going to kind of look at you and say, I got to give it to you. You got a lot of sand, wizard. First, picking a fight with the entire town of Cobb, and then sitting in your cell trying to bribe a Wrangler. I just don't know if they've got a name for the type of defiance and cockiness that you got, but I gotta give you a little respect. And he just kind of puts his hand on his hip where that gun that Baranor took was, and he goes, "The price for bribing a Wrangler is death, but I'm gonna hold off just for now. But don't you worry, I'll pass your offer along to the sheriff once I seize him." And he's going to spin back around and sit back at his desk and continue writing. And The minutes turn to hours, and the hours turn to the end of the night as all of you kind of
You don't
surrender.
Quit, you know.
Yeah, the night comes to a head as you can hear the crickets and the nightlife around the jail starting to pick up. But your eyelids are heavy, your muscles are sore, even fully healed. You do feel the impact of the day's events as you all stare down at your feet on this cold stone floor. That's where we're gonna take a little break.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right. It is 4:04. We'll call that 4:05. We'll meet back here at 4:20 and see what happens next. I can't wait. All right.
All right.
We'll see you in a little bit.
See you soon.
Okay. Well, as the night comes to a close, you all roll over onto the stone. There is no mattress. There is no bed. It is literally just a stone, cobblestone floor, kind of. There is a hole in the corner of each of your cells with a foul odor emitting from it. It's about 3 inches wide. But as you all kind of surrender to the day and welcome the night, I love how I say stuff like that, and then I go to change the music. As the darkness grips your mind, and you welcome a night's rest, whatever it'll be, you're pretty sure you're not going to incur a level of exhaustion from sleeping on a stone floor. I feel like you guys have probably slept on worse. But the sort of trauma that goes along with what you all just endured remains and mixes with uncertainty about the next day's events. You don't imagine they'll just let you go, and that's when that flash returns. It's a little more intense this time, a little clearer. You can definitely make out human, elf, definitely not halfling. This face covered in this just dripping black oil that just kind of slicks down the face and reels back with a splash from their long hair, and the yellow eyes just open in pain or suffering or discomfort or anger or sadness, some kind of emotion in the eyes as it screeches, the black teeth, black tongue. It's almost like this creature is made of black oil and it's just dripping down their face. And you see a pair of arms just sort of cradle their own head in horror, and then it snaps back to regular dank cell. You can all apply a long rest. Nobody has any exhaustion. And just so everybody's clear, I don't know if all of you are aware, but I did level you all in between sessions. So you are all now level full character 12. I don't know if you guys have applied your new HP maximum, but you now can heal to that. I know I had you guys keep your previous HP value.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right. You can hear the morning cicadas chirping from somewhere far away. You get the feeling that this building is maybe towards the edge of town, as you wouldn't imagine that you'd hear, the sounds of crickets, morning crickets and cicadas and woodland creatures. You wouldn't hear those sounds in the middle of this large western town. But you do hear something. You also hear the lapping of waves maybe against a dock. Not exactly on a beach. A little further than the cicadas that you heard. So you get, like I said, you get the feeling you're sort of on the outskirts of town a little bit in this jail. You're all kind of awoken with a start at the scrape of leather boots as they approach the bars. As you kind of yawn and feel an ache in each of your backs as lying on hard stone floor is not the most comfortable in the world. You hear a heavy clink and metal on metal kind of jingling sound, much more than keys, as the morning light just kind of bathes a ribbon straight down the middle of this sort of hallway between the two rows of cells, and you can hear several footsteps approaching. You look into the main sheriff's office. You can see the sheriff himself behind his desk. And as you all kind of meet eyes with him, he just kind of sneers, his huge orc tusks in the way of a proper sneer, and you can hear him just, "Good morning to y'all. How'd you sleep?"
Oh, the turn down service was exceptional.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that. I'll be sure to let the chambermaid know of your praise. And it looks like he's just kind of looking between you and out the window as probably 5 or 6 of these Wranglers unlock the first barred wall, swing open the gate, and enter the jail proper, and unlock and swing open the inner door. They each have a dangling set of manacles, and that blue teal skinned Wrangler, real tall, real lanky, just kind of leans in towards Baranor and says, "So you gonna reach for my gun this time?" Baranor just kind of like looks at him and looks at the gun, and then looks at him and then looks at the gun. He's like, "Tempting, but no, I think I'm good." And he's gonna stand up, as is Axton. Axton is still kind of looking down at this stump on his arm, and he looks so angry, but there's also a curl of sadness around his eyes, and he just kind of stands stock still and looks forward, almost in like a military formation way. And each of the Wranglers kind of reach inside the cell, and you see them holding the manacles, readying your wrists. Y'all are in luck. Judge is seeing you early today. He said he wanted to get this one wiped off the books as soon as possible. You're on the fast track. Good luck to you. And each of them are going to try to manacle you. Does anybody resist? I feel I'm valid in asking that.
No.
No.
Oh. Okay. Sure. All right. You do feel the magical effect of, or whatever it is that is nullifying magic in this space as you're brought out of the cells, your hands clasped in irons, your ankles one by one hooked together, so you only got maybe 3 feet of room around each other. You feel that sensation return to each of you that can do magic as you're kind of walked out of the jail and into the sheriff's office, and you can see the front door is wide open, a huge sun ray bathing the inside of the vestibule to the sheriff's office as you all step out into the morning sun, blinding you, having been sitting in almost total darkness pretty much all morning. It attacks your senses, and you can feel the temperature of the sun hitting your face. You're all very sore and very somber as you're marched, chink, chink, chink. Your feet kind of in lockstep to a as steady a march as possible as you're brought one by one down this single file line a Wrangler kind of holding on to a chain around Koza's neck. Koza is first in line, and kind of dragging you all along. It takes you about 10, maybe 15 minutes to walk the length of this journey until you come to the huge, tall, thin steeple of the Church of the Star. It's new to all of you, but Maven, I don't think anybody else has really been to this part of town yet. And just as you think you're going to be brought between the double doors of the church proper, you divert to the right, and that's when Koza, you can see Neela. She's standing amidst a big group of people, and she has 6 little furbolgs next to her. They are all very confused, just kind of throwing you this look of what are you doing there? Are you okay? You get that feeling. That's the look they're giving you. And and so you're brought to a building just adjacent to the church itself. Large building, these tall pillars on either side of a huge double-doored entrance. And at the top, you see what looks like a 7-pointed star in gold, just like at the top of the church steeple. But it makes up the top portion of a set of scales. The scales themselves are kind of adorned in silver. So, brought into the double doors, you see that there are maybe 16, 17 people in the kind of the lobby of this large building. The floor is made of very highly polished stone, maybe marble, maybe granite, not sure. And it's lined with Wranglers on the edges of the wall all the way around this room. There are benches. There are people sitting, kind of like almost like pews, but not quite. Sitting there, there is what looks like a clerk behind a desk set into the wall on the right as you enter. And there's another set of double doors directly ahead of you, and this is where you're all brought through. You are led to kind of a small room with kind of a wrap around the wall bench, and that's where you're placed. And you have there's about 30 minutes where you're waiting. If anybody wants to make an observation or whatever it is.
All right. So, you want to do the talking, you know?
I don't know if he can hear you.
So who's going to be doing the talking? You want to, you know?
I don't know. Kenny, can you hear? There you go. You were muted.
Shakes his head.
He shakes his head. Well, after about 35
Is there
minutes,
anything like to see? Like, there's
you
like
do
people
see
walking
there's
around, or like,
there's the room is kind of a white slat, and it's definitely less security than the jail. There's a window that faces the kind of like a side alley. It's very, very high, though. It's probably maybe 12 feet in the air. It's just kind of like a simple wooden paned kind of window. Doesn't look particularly tough. And, there's like the floor is not terribly clean. It looks like there's kind of like scratches in the bench surrounding the wall of the room. There's no reading materials. There's no items that you could take or grab. The room is rather empty. It looks like it's just kind of for sitting. And then there's the door that you're facing.
okay, just kind of like waiting. Is there anything that I can hear beyond the door?
You can roll perception, sure.
15.
15. All right. Well, you can hear footsteps beyond the door, under the door, rather. You don't hear a lot of murmuring or whispering. You do hear just like talking, like people talking. Not pertinent information, really. Just kind of like, how's your day today? What's on the docket? How do you think it's going to go? Blah, 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 kind of stuff. Just sort of a morning courthouse jibber jabber.
Okay. But nothing specifically about us.
No, not. I mean, they talk about what happened. Did you see it? No, I was at home before that kind of stuff. It looks like the judge is going to try to get this done quick, and it's not too long until the door swings open again, and there's a rather large half-ogre jailer who you didn't see at the jail. He's dressed in a very, very tight, skin-tight sort of buckskin vest, and he's got kind of like black trousers on. He's not wearing any boots. He's got a big maul in his hand, and he's got kind of a little. He has like a necktie around just his neck, no collar or anything, and it literally like comes down to like the middle of his chest. And he just kind of like, he doesn't enter the room, but he just kind of like grunts at you all, and he's like, "On your feet."
All right.
We rise.
All right.
I say a silent prayer to the Platinum Dragon to, be with us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's flanked by a few Wranglers. It looks like they may be in a different outfit. Like they've ditched their black leather gloves. They're not wearing their dusters. They do have one of them has what looks like a double barrel shotgun, just like the sheriff. The other one's got a long rifle, and he's got another hand on his gun hip. And but they're just wearing kind of classy looking vests, kind of like pinstripe vests. And they escort you all chained together down the hall into a large room. Where he puts you is kind of like a box, and you see there's like benches that sort of line either aisle, or there's an aisle between them. There's like maybe 3 or 4 benches, and then a couple of tables side by side with some chairs behind them. And you see a couple of people. One, this fat pig-looking suited gentleman sitting to the left. It looks like he's scribing on a piece of parchment. There's a couple of books next to him. And on the right looks like kind of an not elderly, but maybe 60s or 70s human with sort of a white puff of hair that sort of erupts from the top of his head. He's got pointy ears, a very long, slender nose, kind of sunken eyes that almost disappear in the darkness, and he's wearing kind of like a light blue, sky blue suit with sort of a smart bow tie. And he is standing, leaning on this table, and looks like he's kind of mouthing words as he reads this tome in front of him. And you are all put at a sort of a viewing box to the far left of the room. And there's a couple of what look like large guards. They're not exactly Wranglers, and they flank this large desk at the back of this room. And let's see here. You guys are kind of sit in your spots. I don't know. It's 3 by 3. There's 3 of you on one row, 3 of you on another. I don't care who sits next to who. Does anybody have a preference? I could say you guys got chained together. It doesn't matter to me.
Maven has a preference.
Yeah, Maven has a preference. Maven is going to, at any given opportunity, be as close to Kravish as possible.
Okay. Yep. Well,
Koja does not have a preference.
I'll say that Kravish and Maven are second and third on the top row. And You guys kind of wait there, and you can see the guards sort of like shifting weight, keeping an eye on you, scanning the room. There's probably 6 or 7 people in the on the benches in the, I guess you call it, what do you call it, the viewing gallery. You don't recognize hardly any of them except for Neela, who kind of comes in behind you all and kind of immediately locks eyes on Koza. And she, at this moment, does not have the children with her. And you see her just kind of shrink and fall in place at the last row of one of these benches. And you guys just kind of sit for a moment as it looks like these people are just sort of like, I don't know, reading and muttering to themselves and muttering to each other. It looks like some of the people on the benches know each other, and maybe they kind of look over and maybe throw each other a comment or two. Everyone steals a look at all of you from one point to another. And after about maybe 10, 15 minutes, enough to make you all kind of nervous and uncomfortable at the lack of progress, you hear a stomping. Dish, dish. All rise, the Honorable Reverend Elias Van preside. And you all kind of are forced to stand, and you're not really given time to think about it because you see the same individual that sort of intervened yesterday from the sheriff just basically cutting Maven's throat and slaughtering all of you. You see the Reverend now in more than just a simple black suit. He does have the familiar white collar, but he's also got a long black robe that sort of covers his torso and down to his feet. He's carrying a book. He's got a pair of half-moon spectacle eyeglasses, and he approaches the back desk and tells everyone, please, sit. Go on, sit down now. And you see the members of the court take their seats, and there is a clerk that sidles up next to the Reverend and just sort of whispers in his ear, hands him a piece of paper, a couple pieces of paper. You see the Reverend just kind of scan your group and, back and forth. I'm going to need everybody to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw just to see where y'all's heads at.
Not bad.
24 from Yuno. 22 from Maven. You got good sleep. Somehow.
She's used to harsh conditions.
Yeah, I guess so. And what am I doing? I am responsible for a couple of rolls here. Come on, I probably should have had this up already. I hope, Steph, that you and Bogey figure out what's going on with Roll20 and his character, because that would suck if he can't open it anymore.
Yeah, it's just on my computer, I think, is probably the issue. I don't really know what's going on. I think I might need to restart the whole thing, but
yeah,
ignore that right now is inadvisable. Oh.
So, Yuno and Maven, pretty good. Everybody else, you've been through hell before. A couple times over. Once, kind of literally. So, you don't really understand why you're sort of nervous right now, other than this feels like a major misunderstanding and an inconvenience. But Koza, yeah, as every time you steal a glance over at Neela, she's kind of just looking between you and the judge, you and the guards, and you and the crowd, and just keeps kind of stealing glances and shaking her head and having her head down. Looks like she's trying to patiently wait. And, Kravish, your head is spinning right now. How the hell did you get here? Same thing for Baranor and Axton. It's all very somber and quiet and gritted teeth and a desperate want to explain things and explain your position and things like that. So at that moment, you see the short, fat humanoid with kind of like this poofy red hair on the left bench just sort of stand up, and he's going to sidle up to all of you and look at all of you and say, Now, who would you say speaks for your group?
I'll pipe up and go, I do, Your Honor.
Oh, please, I'm no judge. I'm your defender, so to say. And I just want to know who it is I got to talk to in order to craft a good defense. Savvy?
Yes.
All right, well, we got a few minutes before the judge is going to call the first order of business. So why don't you just go ahead and tell me what, in your words, transpired yesterday? How I might best bring that to light in a favorable light.
Okay. Well, I will explain to him that on our way to the Copper Nickel, we were concerned that Koza's daughter that he has not seen in over a year and was taken from him under the most wretched of circumstances, he was concerned for her safety and wanted to make sure that she was not under any kind of undue influence. Having not knowing the town's prohibitions on magic, I didn't see any signage or nobody said anything about it. I had suggested that our companion Yuno cast a detect magic spell just to see if there was any undue magical influence. When that occurred, then the one of the Wranglers, just without any explanation, just fired off an anti-magic device, which caused physical pain and suffering to Yuno.
And he's just scribbling on like a little pad.
And then, while my friend was under duress and still reeling from it, the Wranglers came and talked most rudely and harshly to Yuno, and then just summarily said that we had to get out without any explanation whatsoever. While I did resist being evicted, it was out of concern for my friend, and I felt that he was being bullied by them. So I tried to stand up for him. It was then that the sheriff got involved and shoved us all completely out of the building.
Was that before or after one of your party tried to steal a weapon from one of the Wranglers?
Yes, that would have been after. The party member in question has been under some extreme emotional duress over the past several days. The only family that he has known for quite a number of years just recently had children, and that had him in all sorts of emotional state. Plus, he was also a little too inebriated.
All right. And after y'all were evicted from the Copper Nickel, what happened next?
Then chaos struck. People just immediately started firing and started to assume offensive positions. I tried to immediately defuse the situation, but unfortunately things got out of my control, and then I got shot in the face.
Right, and once you were all out on street side, who was it that drew fire first? Was it the Wranglers or was it one of y'all?
First few moments are a bit of a blur, but I think the folks that actually made the first real offensive action as far as opening fire were the Wranglers.
So it's your position that they instigated?
Yes, that they did not make any effort to de-escalate the situation first.
Well, who would you say was the first to initiate a de-escalation of the events in question?
You're trying to defend us, right?
I'm just trying to get the facts down on paper. Listen, I can't give you the best defense unless I know all the facts.
My contention is that the Wranglers were the ones who initiated the escalation by their harsh and rude treatment of Yuno.
Mm-hmm. All right. He's going to kind of continue this line of question with each of you, and kind of you can tell that he's asking hard questions, but he's getting hard answers, and he's doing his best, it looks like, to take note of everything you guys are saying. After maybe 5-10 minutes of having a little bit of a sidebar with you all, he thanks you for your honesty, your recollection, and just assures you to, don't worry, I got your best interests at heart. You just have a seat and rely on me.
Can I make an insight check?
Absolutely. What are you trying to discern?
I'm trying to discern if this guy is giving off a used car salesman vibe.
He is rotund. He has kind of a piggish face. It reminds you a little bit of the Nodin from the Fire Realm, where they have like a pig snout. He doesn't have horns or black eyes or anything, or black teeth, but he just kind of has this like piggish appearance. He's definitely human. He's got kind of this like tuft of red hair on the top of his head, and this large, dark green pinstripe suit. And, his little beady eyes don't offer much, but yeah, you can go ahead and roll insight to see if you believe what he says when he has your best interest. He's definitely asking you lots and lots of questions and writing down everything you say, or at least an abridged version.
15.
15, well, what's that, 8?
Oh, that was a foobar.
Okay, 15.
The 15's the inside check.
15's not bad. It's enough that you do feel confident that he's at least telling the truth when he says he's got your best interests at heart. He's a little slimy. You can tell that maybe it's not a great idea to be on the other side of the aisle from him. But he's slimy for all the right reasons, at least for what you gather. But as he kind of waddles away and plops down on his seat, the Reverend he doesn't hit a gavel. You see him like take a small steel wand and kind of strike what looks like a dangling 7-pointed star from a little bracket on his desk. And you hear it like ding, ding, ding. And that's when you hear the half-ogre guard on his right. The Honorable Elias Thanley, presiding over this here people on the right. And you see him kind of like gesture to all of you, and he looks at a little note next to him. The so-called Crown Collectors. Judge, court is now in session. I leave it in your hands, Your Honor. And that's when the judge, Reverend Thanley, kind of leans forward and asks the first bit of evidence or actually a reading of the charges. You are all, each of you, being charged with disorderly conduct, trespass, and at least 10 counts of assault. I think definitely 3 people died, so 3 counts of murder. And you're all kind of being charged with each of these. And, he has, as the charges are, the rest of them are kind of minuscule and like loitering too long in a crime scene or something. You can tell some of these charges are trumped up just to kind of stack it. And it's not too long before, the judge kind of waves away. All right, let's hear the first bit of evidence. And I'm not going to go through an entire trial here bit by bit. What we find here is, and if anybody at any point wants to react in some way, you all do feel that magic is allowed in this room. although each of your hands are manacled and manacled in a way that you're restrained, where you can't do, what is it called? Semantic movements. You're at least manacled in a way that makes that impossible. But you do have verbal, and I guess that's kind of it. Can't get in a pouch. You don't have any belongings for components. Just to let you all know what you have at your disposal. And they
not much.
Yeah. They kind of go back and forth. This older, thinner gentleman with white hair is presenting the charges of chaos and murder and assault and disorderly and all that on part of the crown collectors to the good people of Cobb. Makes mention of damage to property surrounding the battle scene, that there were several innocent bystanders that were hit by errant debris and things like that. Just kind of talking up the charges as much as possible to make you all seem as bad as possible. And they go back and forth with your public defender, who does his best to paint you all in as good of a light as possible. You kind of feel like maybe he's leaving out certain details, minor as they may be. Maybe they're not so minor considering your innocence is at stake here. So what I'm going to do is every one of you is going to get a chance to bear witness to the events and perhaps defend a different category, a different aspect of your interaction with the sheriff. You can obviously allow the defense to rest for your witness and kind of refuse to participate. But we'll go down the list. We'll start with the interaction in the tavern, and we'll start with Kravish, as you were the most adamant that is where the transgression started. So, is there any new evidence you'd like to submit? And if so, we'll add a roll, but you're going to make a persuasion or a performance check to see if your portion of this skill challenge is successful.
Okay, so this is just a roll.
Yeah, well, you can make if you want to present anything else into evidence. I'll let you make persuasion, or I'll give you a bonus. Otherwise, you can make a persuasion or a performance for this. Yeah, it's just a roll.
So, I would like to address the court to address the circumstances that brought us here in the first place, as I think that will bear great weight to the actions that actually occurred. Okay, so I will start talking about our man Koza, who suffered brutal trauma at the hands of the walking rot, which was actually more like a tidal wave, destroyed his village, killed his spouse, and led to the disappearance of his only daughter. He's been wandering Valandiir for months, and then he got cruelly trapped near Brackenshire. In our travels, he finally was able to get a piece of information leading his daughter to this fair town. And so that's why we were here in the first place, to try to find this poor man's kid. And we did. And it was a very happy time. But there still were questions remaining. Koza wasn't sure if she was truly safe. So out of a father's love and concern, or stemming from a father's love and concern for his child, his only child, the last thing that he has left in this world that he can claim as his, I suggested to our mage to cast a detect magic spell, just to make sure that she was not under any kind of undue magical influence or threat. Had I known there was an explicitly stated ban on magic in certain areas, I would not have done it.
It's about that time that the prosecutor just sort of stands up. Objection, Your Honor. Relevance. As fascinating as the origin of time is, the events in question are limited only to what transpired in the Coppernickel. The witness is going on a diatribe, trying to explain his actions as well as his party members' actions, and I don't think the court needs necessarily to hear his whole life story. And you hear your defender kind of stand up. Your Honor, we're talking about this man's character and his motivations leading. And you hear them kind of spar left and right. So I'm going to go ahead and have you roll persuasion or performance. And let's see how you do.
Okay. Do I get any kind of like advantage or just straight roll?
Well, I would say it's a straight roll. I was going to give you advantage until you went really far back in time to bring up stuff that this prosecutor didn't seem relevant, so he had to object. So just a straight roll.
21.
21. You see the judge kind of lean on his hand a little bit, like kind of like his fingers to his temples. He leans on his elbow. Say, the objection is overruled. I think we can hear a little bit about these crown collectors and where they come from, but let's keep the facts relevant to the case at hand. What do you say, Mr. Kravich?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Let's go to Koza. Koza, you sit up at the witness stand, and we're going to have this... You're being questioned now about the interaction once you were all sort of bullied towards the door, and they ask you straight up, would you say it is pertinent to go grabbing a lawman's peacekeeping weapon once he's trying to enforce the law, Mr. Koza?
No, I would not.
No, indeed, and yet your party member saw fit to grab the Wrangler's piece, having no provocation whatsoever to go stealing the gun off a lawman. Your Honor, I say these witnesses, those charged, are criminal and ought to be locked up for the rest of their days for the chaos that they... And you hear your defender kind of stand up. Objection, Your Honor. The prosecutor wants to diatribe himself, apparently. What we're here to discuss is the criminality of the defendants, not necessarily the over-after effects that the innocent onlookers may have. They kind of argue back and forth a little bit. So what would you like to do to contribute to this? Would you like to, I don't know, use Is there a spell you can weave to make everyone kind of believe you, or would you like to just roll persuasion?
Well, I don't know that I have any sort of like spell for anything, so I'm just gonna roll persuasion.
Okay.
Let's see. It's a big old fat +0. Ooh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
That was almost a 3.
Yeah, that's only 4 points behind Kravich's. So your public defender is able to kind of bat away the prosecutor's attempt to bully you into worrying about something that your party member did. It eventually comes to Baranor, and he is questioned heavily about his motivation in grabbing a Wrangler's pistol when that Wrangler was within what the prosecutor says, well within his bounds to exodus you all from an establishment that you were deemed to trespass on. And I will have Baranor do something. I don't know what yet.
Do something Baranorish.
Do something Baranorish. Let's see. What does he have? He doesn't really have like a spell that can affect anything. At least not that I'm aware of. Oh wait. I think I had up Ranger spells. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Animal Friendship, East Bond. Entangle, Fog Cloud. That's a semantic. I think they're all semantic, except for Ensnaring Strike and Hail of Thorns and Hunter's Mark. You know what? He's gonna Hunter's Mark the prosecutor. Yeah, he's gonna Hunter's Mark the prosecutor. So you all just see Baranor just sort of like muttering to himself a little bit, and he just says, "Look, I saw an opportunity to even the score. I saw a bunch of bullies just sort of throwing their weight around, and they were a little more armed than we were at the moment, and I thought I could get away with it. Turns out I can't. I don't know what else to say." And he's going to Hunter Mark the prosecutor. And we'll have him roll persuasion as well.
I'm sure that no matter what he gets, he's going to want to use Psychic Knack, which is a D8 to add to his roll.
All right. Nope, that's fair. We'll do it.
He's
going to need it.
He's going to need it.
That's like, not bad. 17.
Oh, there we go. Much better.
He'll be happy with that. The prosecutor really kind of bears down and sort of makes the focus of the whole case hinging on this pistol grab and, how it was an outwardly hostile act that was responsible for the escalation of the Wranglers calling the sheriff and the other officers to assist, and how had that not happened, perhaps it wouldn't have gotten as violent as it did. And your lawyer is he's able to sort of defend the fragile tension of a newcomer who didn't know the rules of town, and they do explain finally for you all that detect magic is outlawed in Cobb, and it's posted on the signs leading in and out of town for newcomers. It's not posted really well, and none of your passive wisdom was able to see them because they're kind of like posted on like fence posts and whatever. Not terribly applicable. I mean, you've seen notices pinned to poles. You just walk right by them. So you didn't know, and how that that could have changed the course of fate had they known that. And it does well enough to sort of tip the scales towards a misunderstanding instead of just a blatant disregard for law. Let's see here, Maven. So the Bannister is going to accuse you and several of your party of being more violent than the others. Certainly, and Maven and Axton as being real main perpetrators of the violence that sort of got this whole thing out of control. So is there anything you'd like to say or do to defend your actions, or would you like to just go straight for the persuasion?
Okay, so she's going to talk about how the fact that she grew up as an orphan and had no real family, and how these people have absolutely become her family, and how she is with the man that she loves, and that she was just defending them when she saw that they were being attacked unjustly, in her perception, at least.
All right. So, you can go ahead and roll persuasion, and you can add, since you didn't really go too outside of the norm, you can add 2 to whatever you roll. And,
17 total.
Cool. All right, 17 total. Not bad. And
Number of the day.
you can see the judge, the Reverend Thanley, and while this is all going on, you can see him just sort of taking note, and there's objection here, objection there. He makes a ruling for you, against you, and you're having a hard time really getting a bearing on where he's leaning. So why doesn't everybody at this moment, before we get to go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can sort of get a feel, or maybe insight. You can do insight if that works better for you.
Either one, I got a 25.
Okay.
24.
24. 15 from I am on it with Axton and Baranor. I just can only do one at a time. His passive wisdom is really good. It's a 23. So if he gets below passive wisdom, I'm just going to take passive.
Oh, man.
That goes for anybody else in this moment. And what I get. Ooh, 31. Damn!
Right.
Holy crap. I think Baranor has pretty good passive wisdom too.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see if he can beat it. 21, that's pretty great. Let's see if he beats it. 15, yeah, his passive wisdom is enough. You can all see as you kind of look at each other as you're brought up to the witness stand and then brought back, and you guys kind of whisper to each other, how do you think that went, that kind of stuff. None of you are able to get a bead on Baranor as his head is just down. He's not looking at anybody. He's not looking at the prosecution. He's not looking at your defense attorney. He's not looking at the judge, the gallery, the guards, nobody. He's not looking at any of you. And he's just like, you can see him every now and then he closes his eyes and he isn't there for a moment. And then he comes back but he doesn't look at any of you. Okay. As far as the judge is concerned, it's kind of hard to tell, but he does seem to be sympathetic. You'll notice that he does seem to be sympathetic towards those of you who are defending the fact that you're new in town and you don't know the rules. He seems to kind of nod his head in agreement with the defense attorney sometimes. He does sort of give concession to the prosecutor that when told to leave an establishment, you very well should just listen instead of becoming an obstacle, no matter how you feel it's going. But he definitely feels like there was misunderstandings on both sides as to motivation, things like that. So finally, you are brought to the stand, and the prosecutor just kind of leans his elbow on the witness stand, and he just kind of looks like he's going over a couple of papers in his hand, and he's taking his time to actually address you. So I'd like you to go ahead and make me a wisdom save. 21? Okay. How would you like to personify and act out your impatience for this guy who you feel is definitely playing for time and being a little dramatic, a little theatric? How would choose to express his irritation?
Does nothing. He sits there kind of bored.
Yeah.
Like he has no care in the world about this guy's incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
Very flippant, very meh.
So you're a wizard of the Empire, are you not, Mr.
That is correct.
I see here in our research of you that you are of noble birth of the... And he just kind of flips a page up real quick. Cerillion family, is that correct?
That is correct.
So you would agree that someone brought up in your background would have a notion of law and order, would it not?
Well, as this is not the Empire, and we are guests here, unfamiliar with your laws, and in fact some of your technology, it should be a little more clear that something that's common in other places in the world, i.e. magic, would have specific restrictions here that are more accessible than just a piece of paper under a shoe somewhere.
You're, of course, referring to the outlying laws of our magical acceptance within the town Cobb limits.
Correct. We clearly did not see that after returning to your town after helping some ranchers. We're not aware of it. And then people who we have no clue with, who do not seem to be the proprietors of an establishment, are telling us to get out. How were we to know who they were and why they were telling us what they were telling us? They didn't explain anything, and they didn't seem, from our understanding, to have any part of running the establishment. For all we knew, they were just patrons in there.
And you see the prosecutor kind of gesture to the gallery. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a nobleman who feels entitled to have the rules bent to him simply because he is not aware of their existence in the first place. When brought to the authority that he was, he decided to elicit violence. Instead of obeying what is obviously the local authority. And you see your public defender stand up. I object, Your Honor. The prosecution is assuming that the defendants were in league with violent offenders when they were themselves simple tourists, unaware of our laws and changes. It is to be expected that those unfamiliar with our ways would make a mistake. It doesn't necessarily have to break out in violence, and the prosecutor objects to his objection, and they kind of they do a bit of verbal sparring on the legitimacy of the claim that you're too foreign to understand when authority figures are talking to you, but also saying that the rules should apply to everyone equally, and the Wranglers were the first to start a fight, and they kind of go back and forth. So would you like to do anything magic-y, or would you just like to see if you can persuade them to your point of view?
Yep, I am not going to try any magic at all.
Okay,
period.
Let's have a persuasion check from you.
Let's do a button. Nat 20 for a solid 24.
Nice. All right, I'm making a note of a nat 20. Yeah, okay. That's a success. That's a success. That's not. That isn't either. Okay. So after some closing arguments where the prosecution is sort of doubling down on the fact that there was some muddling of motivation on both sides, the fact that the Wranglers told you to leave, you didn't leave. Those are the facts. When pressed to leave, one of your party tried and succeeded on stealing one of the pistols, and the fact that when told to stop and submit to the law, you and your party, most of your party, continued to be belligerent and resist right up until one or several of your party were under threat of being killed as a result of this uncontrollable violence on both parts. And it's brought to light that through character witness, there are people that you've interacted with. They bring the shopkeeper that you bought your clothes from. They bring the innkeeper from where you were staying that night. And just to kind of comment on how everybody was and how you guys were perfectly fine and well-mannered and well-intentioned. You didn't try and steal anything. You didn't have that criminal appeal. But you see that kind of factoring into how the judge is leaning one way or another until finally the judge stands behind his bench and says, "I will consider my verdict here. In the meantime, please take the prisoners to the holding cell, and I will be out directly." And that's when you are all brought to your feet and filed single file into that room once again. We can speed through the wait time unless there's anything anybody would like to do or say while you wait here, probably for the next half an hour.
I think I'm good.
It's definitely a lot to think about. I'm going to need Koza to go ahead and make another wisdom saving, please.
Uh-oh. Boink.
What? I think I've proven that
another dirty 20.
I think I've proven that not every wisdom save is a spell being cast on you.
Yes, but usually that's what it means.
All right, fair. A 17. That's persuasion. Nope, I'm not. Oh, hold on. You got a 20. I was scrolled way up. My bad. Okay.
I was like,
Nope. Wisdom.
Where'd you get 17 from?
Dirty 20. No, I was looking at your perception check. Okay. You feel that went rather well. You feel that this person that was chosen to represent you was at the very least explaining facts as you remember them. It seems like he probably took pretty good notes when you guys were talking to him, and he was able to defend your position against the prosecutor whenever you felt the prosecutor was twisting facts or bending them. So you feel pretty good. However, you're kind of hanging on the fact that you got dragged out through all this in front of Neela, and that's kind of worming its way into your mind. And you can't help but worry. Whatever's going to happen next, what will that mean for her? As you were trying to ascertain the nature of her employment and what this collar meant, and you don't know any of that yet, because all this happened. So you're kind of concerned, definitely, that this may have repercussions against her. You don't know, but maybe, and that scares you. After about 30 minutes, the half-ogre sort of fills the threshold of the doorway again after he swings the wooden door open. Time to go again. Come on now, let's go. And he's just kind of palming his huge ball. This thing is like the size of a watermelon. It's got like little fanned blades and little spikes all over it. It's kind of like got a rusty color. It looks definitely really, really savage, and you can imagine what it would feel like getting hit by it. You're brought into the courtroom. There's a hush, a lull in the energy as everyone seems to be abandoning their little chit-chat sidebar, little whispered murmurings between them. As you're brought back to the little box that you guys were sitting in, you're all asked to remain standing until the guard just sort of says, "All rise. Honorable Reverend Elias Stanley presiding." And he returns to his desk. He's like, "Y'all go ahead and take your seats. Defendants, please remain standing." And he kind of takes off his little half-moon shaped glasses and lays them on the desk, and it looks like he's looking down at some kind of piece of paper, and he's making notes here, and he's muttering to himself a little. He's like, "Do we have a recommendation on the defendants should the guilty verdict be rendered?" And you see the prosecuting attorney just sort of stand to his feet and like looking down his nose and very hoity-toity. He just kind of mutters, "Death, Your Honor. We seek death. They acted in violence and unprovoked attack on our law enforcement and made a complete charade of the peace that's been perpetrated on the streets of Cobb. We wish for them to be hanged by the neck until death. That is the town of Cobb's position. That is our request, Your Honor." And he kind of like leans down. You see him kind of put his fingers down on on the desk, spreads his arms out a bit, sort of thinking. He's like, I'm reminded of a time when we were much younger, the town of Cobb, when the church hadn't yet been erected and hadn't yet had the hope and harmony that we have today. It was a lawless time. Yeah. We were. Bless you.
Thank you. That was in character.
Perfect. Well, then that was in character too. I'm reminded back when we had to defend our land from all manner of creatures and bandits who wished to take it from us. We were savage and swift and fast to attack and fast to defend. But we all must remember that law and order must prevail. Even if we may not understand the consequences of our actions and may not even understand the rules yet, there must be law and order. And if I were to let these tourists simply walk out of here free, I would be in violation of my very duties as judge to keep peace and order here. Therefore, the court renders a verdict of guilty. And you see kind of everybody just sort of murmuring like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And you see the prosecutor just kind of look down his nose towards all of you and just kind of like, you see him kind of like look down at his little pad of paper and you can definitely tell he makes like a check mark on his little pad. However, the sentence of death, feeling a little harsh as no one truly lost their lives, all peace officers were revived, as well as some of your party. The sentence of death is hereby commuted. And you hear like a different energy from the gallery, and the prosecutor just kind of like stomps his foot very gently and kind of makes like he scratches something out on a piece of paper, and you can see your public attorney kind of look at you all and kind of give you like a thumbs up from his eyes kind of a thing, and you see the prosecutor just sort of stiffen up. What shall the sentence be, Your Honor, for these here transgressors? These purporters of violence, these harassers of our dutiful Wranglers. And you see the judge kind of like look down a little bit and then look all at you. So I'm going to need a perception check from everybody that will count later.
Can I use my passive?
Yeah, if it's higher than what you roll, yes. That's okay. Kind of that. Yeah, for perception, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, so mine's a 20.
Okay. All right. 22, 17, 13, 14. Got to do the boys. Although it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to skip Varanor because he's not paying attention. Yeah. That's great. I'll take his 23 over a 9. Yeah, Kravish, Koza, you two are just like sort of like floored by all of this.
Oh, remember, mine's a 20.
Oh, yours is a 20. Okay. So yeah, you're still kind of floored. You know, you kind of can't believe that this is happening. But you definitely like it is what it is. This is the verdict, and you're about ready to find out what what those crimes being found guilty of can garner. And the judge just kind of you see him kind of with from a desk drawer. Looks like he's got out 6 rolls of parchment. And before he passed the sentence, you see the prosecutor kind of pipe up and say, Your Honor, let us not forget the sheriff's concession. And the judge just kind of, Reverend Thanley just sort of, he like furrows his eyebrows and he's like, yes, of course. And he opens up another drawer beneath it, and there is what looks like a black box, like a black iron box. And definitely those of you who are persuasive notice that there is sort of a visible vapor of like black dust, maybe. Not a lot. Kind of like the Coppice of Blight, how it has this like weird wafting sort of black smoke that sort of surrounds it. And he opens it up, and he pulls out 3 leather collars and hands these to the banister, or the bailiff. And as the bailiff approaches you all, and I'm going to do this fire. We're going to do a D6. And we're going to go down the Discord line as far as who was what. So, Corey, you are a 1. Koza, you are a 2. Maven, you are a 3. Yuno, you are a 4. And then Axton is a 5, and Baranor is a 6. And as the judge straightens up and proclaims sentencing, the first person who is approached with one of these collars is Axton. You see the bailiff just sort of, with his meat hooks, wrap this leather strap around Axton's neck and pulls it tight. And you see him kind of... The next one he approaches is Yuno. He goes to attach a kind of a light brown collar around your neck. Do you do anything as your hands are bound?
No.
Okay. The final one is Kravish.
Damn.
God.
Do you bend your head?
Really don't have much of a choice. Yeah.
Okay. Yours is kind of like it's almost a yellow leather with sort of a silver simple buckle. Definitely clashes with what you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that Yuno and Kravish, as you feel the leather touch your skin, I need you both to make... Hold on. Let me look something up real quick. Okay. Yeah, I just need a wisdom saving throw from you both. Okay. How about
16.
16. Okay. Yeah. You guys don't feel really any different. You don't feel like a wave of you don't know what you were expecting. You don't feel any real magical effect, I'll say. The collar itself, however, does feel very itchy, almost like it's made of sandpaper, and it's a little warm to the touch, a little warmer than you imagined it would be. And yeah, so the judge sort of stands to his feet and says, "Sentence herein applied is thusly. The Crown Collectors shall remain in Cobb for a period no longer than 60 days of hard incarceration. During that time, they shall be the property of the mine of Cobb, used in physical labor to improve the welfare of the people of Cobb. They will benefit from your incarceration, as they have suffered under the collateral damage of your attack on law enforcement. You will make big rocks into little rocks, and you will do what you're told from this day forward when approached by the Wrangler. is. This is the decision of the court. And you kind of see him grasp the 6 pieces of parchment. And at this point, they're kind of rolled up together. And the judge just kind of looks down and says, I do not look lightly on the fact that you never intended harm on your way into Cobb. But this should teach you that when you come to a strange town, you listen to the authority when it's bestowed upon you. And if your labor is fruitful, you very well may prosper here. But until that day, you shall be remanded to the guards and the jailers and to the mine of Cobb. So say the court. And you hear the guards kind of like tap their mauls on the ground as like a doosh, doosh. Very Law and Order, kunk, kunk. And he brings these pieces of parchment to the bailiff, and the bailiff files you into a back room where you are set in front of a table, and the parchment is laid out in front of you, and it just looks blank. And he says, the guard says, you're to sign these contracts outlining your sentence and your release date. Any refusal and will fall back on the commuted sentence of death. And he just kind of leaves a quill out front, and there are 6 scrolls in front of you. And
you just said they're blank?
Yep, they're blank. And does anybody wish to do or say anything in this moment? Otherwise, I'm going to have Axton and Baranor act.
No, just do whatever you want us to do, Jeff.
Huh? Okay. Did you want us to do something?
No.
Are you okay?
You sound really far away.
I get a drink of water. No, I'm not going to do anything.
Okay.
I'd like to point out to the bailiff that the paper's blank.
The half-ogre just kind of looks at you and is like, okay. And he's like, not my problem. So I'm going to have, just to keep it spicy, I'm going to make a couple rolls on behalf of Axton and Baranor. Let's see. Insight. 18. All right. That's pretty good. And we'll have Baranor do something else. Let's see. Yes. Baranor gets very close to the paper and looks at it intently. 29. Wow. He's just kind of, you see him kind of take a deep breath, close his eyes, and say, I don't like the look of this paper, guys. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think they're just blank. And you see him grab the quill and reluctantly sign his name. And as he grabs it, you see him like wince a little. And as he signs his name, right at the end, you hear him go, ow. And a drop of blood emits from the tip of his finger and stains the paper. And you can see there was a small little pinprick on the edge of the quill that just caught his finger. And as he does, you see the entire parchment fill with kind of a dark red ink. And it's in very, very small print. Axton just kind of looks like, okay, fine, I guess. 2 months is not that bad. I don't know how I'm going to do labor with one arm. And he just kind of holds up his stump. And he does the same thing, and it pricks his finger in a similar way, which fills the parchment with script.
Read the script.
Uh-huh.
Hey, can we read it?
You cannot.
The language is in.
It is in a language you don't understand.
Are you sure? Because I know weird languages.
Yeah, which do you know?
Let me find the red page. Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Ah, too bad. You don't know it. It doesn't ring a bell.
I can help.
All right.
What
So,
about it? I don't have it. What about Infernal?
do you have Infernal?
No, I'm just asking if anybody else does.
I don't think that. Well, I can't see anything at Baranor. I'm sure Baranor doesn't speak Infernal, but I'll look at Axton. I don't think he does either. Let's see.
And I'm assuming you do not have comprehend languages.
Nope.
Yeah, Axton only understands English, Dwarvish, and Common.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's in legalese. Let's say that. It's a lot of ex facto, pacto, whatever. Not sure what it says. Short answer, do you all sign?
I do.
Okay. You take a point of piercing damage.
I want to call the lawyer in here.
Okay. He does not. He doesn't. You say that to the guard, and he's like, "No." Thanks. I hate it. I love that. All right. Does anybody object outright, or do you sign? I'm guessing you guys sign, unless you say no. Okay, you take 1 point of piercing damage. I can feel the seething hatred from Corey right now. He does not like this at all.
You would be correct, sir.
Yeah, so with everyone's signature, or forever, either rebel now or forever hold your peace, they're rolled up and they are taken before, you are all taken before the judge, who takes the rolled up scrolls. It looks like, you were in sort of a lobby of an office, and as the reverend comes out, he takes these scrolls and just sort of looks at them and regards you all and says, "While you're here, make sure you, take in the niceties of Cobb as best you can. I don't like to see new people experiencing these forceful rules right off the bat. But sometimes you have to face the consequences of your actions. Well, we're going to see just how placid you can become after a few weeks in the mine. Y'all have fun now and behave, and you'll be out of here in no time." And you notice that as he kind of drifts into the shadow, that his eyes, like just for a split second as he walks away and the shadow takes over, glow yellow. And he walks away. "All right, you lot, come with me." The half-ogre guard just sort of shoves you in the direction of the exit. And you begin kind of clinking along as you're directed outside. It looks like you're kind of taken back to the jail for but the back alleyways of the neighborhoods leading back to it. And there's a strange chill in the air as you all kind of, sort of process the idea that you've all been convicted of a crime, and you're now prisoners of the Wranglers in the town of Cobb, and just sort of made to work in the mine. Not exactly sure what that is. A couple of you definitely remember hearing about the mine, but to what extent you are indebted to it is unclear at this moment. You're brought back to the jail. You all just sort of are put back in your cells, pretty much in the same pattern that you were before, to contemplate what to do next, to bend to their will, to rebel and escape. It's all sort of up in the air at this moment. You're not exactly sure what will come next. Is there anything anybody wants to do or say as you enjoy the first evening of your guest stay at the jail? Nobody? Okay.
No.
So your first evening just kind of is mostly just sort of absorbing what's gone on and the low nature of your stature and your position right now and how you may improve it. And it's about maybe the 9 o'clock hour, just after you were fed a bowl of brown gruel that was definitely not worth what you've paid for meals in the past. It's grainy and gritty and mealy, and you're pretty sure there's something down in there wiggling. And that's when you hear the scraping of a footprint outside the window of the jailhouse. You hear a psst, psst. Hey, y'all in there?
Who's the closest to the window?
Yeah,
Because I was in the middle. So, me?
That would. Oh no. Well, you can hear it. You can hear it. The closest to the window, I think, is Yuno, and on the other side is Koza, I think.
Okay.
But you can hear. You can all hear this. Psst. Hey, are you in there? Hello. Hey.
I looked at Coach.
Yeah, we're in here. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
we
you
are.
You hear like a grunting, like, and then you see two very small, blue, semi-furry hands. And Koza, you recognize this immediately as a very young furball. And with a strain and a grunt sound, brings her face even with the bars. It is Lahore, the oldest of the Weave children that you met, like, yesterday. And she just kind of looks down at all of you and is like, are you guys okay?
Lovely. Just dandy.
And you see her, like,
Sorry,
start to... What'd you say?
Just realized I was muted this whole time.
Oh, what did you want to say?
I was gonna say I've been saying I walk up to the window, or I look out the window. But you know, when Lahore walks up to the window, I just peek my head out and say, "Hey, you know, we're okay. We're gonna be here a while, but we'll be all right."
And she just kind of, like, you can see her fingers starting to shake. And she just looks down and goes, well, here. They don't feed you very good, so take this. And she, with one hand holding on, the other hand reaches down into her, what looks like maybe her belt. She brings up a tiny little satchel like the size of like a engagement box and tosses it through the bars, and it lands like a foot away from where you're sitting, Koza, but like in the hallway of the, you know, the aisle between the two rows of jail cells. And it's just this little leather satchel. And she goes, I'll come back with more, maybe tomorrow. And she slips and falls, and you hear a thump on the ground outside the window. And you can hear her little footsteps kind of skittering away.
I will, you know, mutter a little prayer to myself and then go to pick up the leather satchel.
Okay. It's, like I said, it's not so much a pouch as it's something that kind of snaps closed. I'm guessing you open it?
Yep.
It's a little tiny toothpick, and that's all that's in it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it in my mouth.
You put it in
chew
your
on
mouth,
it.
and your stomach is instantly filled with food.
Whoa.
Yeah. And as you do that, you notice that you pull it out, and you're like, oh, I feel full all of a sudden. There's a little tiny chew mark at the very end of the toothpick.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. And as your stomach just sort of like, it definitely, there's no taste involved. I guess you could say it's kind of like the chewing gum from Willy Wonka, where you can feel a rush of flavor over your tongue and down your throat. Yeah, you get the feeling that this is something that either has more than one use. Not sure if it resets or if it's just disposable. But as you kind of like twist this around in your finger and, kind of play with it in your mouth, you notice it doesn't fill your stomach twice. That would be dangerous. And kind of like sort of think about your predicament here. We're going to go ahead and end the session.
Ooh, boy. Jail episode.
I don't love being in jail.
No, nobody likes being in jail. No one likes it. But this is where you're at. Yeah. So we will reconvene. Come on the July 27th, if that works for everyone. Obviously, let me know if it don't. I hope Bogey had a nice drill today. I'm sure he is really upset that he missed out on this episode.
Oh, yeah, he missed so much.
He's not, yeah.
Does he know what's going on, by the way? Can he listen, or are you keeping him up? Yeah.
I'm keeping him somewhat updated when I can. So
yeah. Well, I'm sure he's thrilled.
He will definitely be listening to it later. So.
I'm sure. But that ends it for today. I think this day went about as good as it could have gone. To tell you the truth. I think that it went worse than some of you were hoping it would. Definitely went better than it could have gone. I was talking to Noah during the break. Not gonna lie, I was trying to kill everybody at a certain point. Everyone was gonna be under the gun for sure. There was a point in time where I probably would have been a little more diplomatic, but hey man, actions have consequences, especially in the West.
No, they don't. No, they don't. we just get away with things.
How was I supposed to know my actions would have consequences? But anyway, that's it for me, folks. I will see you guys in the chat, and I will see you all on the 27th. All right. We'll see you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.